cool, the black livery, and I can see what you mean now. Very difficult to get a drive out of those corners to generate the pace to overtake.
Because he's getting a good run on Ibrahim. He's going to be looking down the inside of him into the last corner for sure, and Ibrahim isn't letting him through.
Wow, Alif Hamilton takes the lead around the chicane, and wow, at the end of the very, very first lap, it's Mohammed Alif Hamilton from P3 takes it, and Ibrahim has lost P2 as well. Nassi is alongside him, but Alif leading the way. Ibrahim looking very tense, bottom left of your screen.
I don't know what's going on with Ibrahim. Ibrahim was looking very good, but he's just lost 2 positions in a couple corners, and he just seems to be struggling over the moment. I don't know if he's got some technical issues, because we know how quick the Indian is, but yeah, struggling at the moment. He's trying to recover, obviously. It was kind of weird. It looked like he pulled out of the way to let Alif through, and it seems to be okay now. It seems to have paced him back again.
And they're not teammates, so that would be a team strategy by any stretch of the imagination. But there is Ibrahim in P2. Alif leads the way. Wow, we thought that he was struggling towards the end of qualification as he comes around the hairpin and into this long right-hand corner, and then he'll hit Spoon. But wow, when Alif is in the lead, Alex, Alif rarely loses it.
Exactly. And Miko Nassi taking the lead into 130R.
Oh, he does. Look at that. Alif has been pushed out wide. Miko, oh, there's contact, and Alif holds on as they go into that chicane at the end of lap number 2. Nassi getting very aggressive, and Ibrahim, he's back in this race as well. This is down the home straight. Defense from Alif, defense from Nassi, and Ibrahim can't get round. Oh, more contact. Tell you what, their points are going to be accumulating.
Yeah, they got to watch.
Nassi in front.
They got to watch the incident points, but Nassi is in front right now. Good job by the Finnish driver. He's up to P1 after so much contact, and Alif there after second. Now Ibrahim's all over the back of Alif. Wow, so let's see if Alif is still within DRS zone. These 4 drivers have pulled away from the rest of the field. Back in 5th position, you've got Mika Hakimi leading the back there. But look at that, he's not.
0.99.
So
is it 1.1?
Oh, it's tricky. I can't tell. I think
it's
it might,
very close.
He might just be out of DRS zone. So looks like Miko Nassi might have bolted and might have just broken DRS. Can he move away from these 3 battling behind him now?
Well, this is Alif, who is definitely losing ground as they come up the hill round the S's. Losing ground onto Nassi, who sprinted to 1.5 seconds clear. It is foot down for Miko Nassi. Ibrahim and Naqib Aslan, they have got DRS on the back of Mohammed Alif Hamilton. So that is going to be fascinating. Ibrahim, after that first lap wobble, looks to be very much back in the groove. Yeah, he's in P3 there in the first of the lime green Stratos cars.
Oh, I said he could go down the inside of turn 9, and he does. That's a high-risk move, though. Somehow he squeezes down the inside of the hairpin. No contact between the two. He's got the inside to this fast right-hander, easy flat. But now Alif's got the inside for Spoon. No, Alif just tucks in back. That's an interesting position to try and overtake a car.
It's a fabulous position.
Okay, so then you can see Mohammed Naqib there is right over the back of Ibrahim right now. Sorry, not Ibrahim, of Alif. So this is the battle for the championship. With the championship leader in the orange car, and the guy's second in the championship. We're riding on board with him, Naqib Aslan from Malaysia. He's been very calm and biding his time. So I got a feeling he's biding his time right now. But we will see later on. But you can see Mika Hakimi in the blue car in 5th position is closing down to these top 4 right now. See Mika Hakimi, there he is in the RSG car, the top RSG car at the moment in 5th position. Behind him, we've got the 2 JMX Phantom cars. They have been struggling. Martona and, of course, Rakhmat. Rakhmat was in the front row, but there you are, the 2 orange cars between RSG, behind the RSG car of Mika Hakimi. So they're at the bottom of the top 10. But we have to go back to the front, I think, Des, because Mohammed...
He's closed in. He's closed in, hasn't he? Look at that. It's only half a second. Nassi has had a 1:28.2 or 1:27.8 from Mohammed Ibrahim. That has taken half a second off Nassi, and he's got within DRS. And Alif has got DRS, Naqib's got DRS, Miko Nassi, 1 poor quarter of a lap, and he's lost that lead.
Wow, yeah, he doesn't look very phased though, he looks pretty calm. If he lost that pace by looking after the tyres, maybe that's not so bad because they have more tyres at the end of the race. But if he's made a mistake, it's going to be very costly because look, Ibrahim he's going to get him down the next straight, you feel.
Certainly looks... Oh, that's a mistake from Ibrahim. Oh, Ibrahim has blocked. He's blocked everybody off, and Nassi capitalises, and he's recovered. Nakib tries to go around the inside. Ibrahim is pushed very wide. Alif is the man who capitalises. Ibrahim 3. What the heck happened there?
Wow, so then they got the DRSs as well. All three of them just jostling for position now. Is Mohammed Ibrahim going to look after it? And look now, Mika Hakimi in the RSG car's caught onto the back of this. I mean, he'll be within DRS zone, so this could be a five-way fight for the lead at the moment.
Ibrahim again makes a move on the back, and Miko has been able to pull away because of that mistake, a gap of 1.8 seconds.
Yeah, so he's easily out of DRS zone.
You can make up time, Alex. It's just really difficult to overtake.
Yeah, it is. You just talked about Fadli Rahman. There he is, fighting with his teammate at the moment. And then you talk about Inigo Anton and Ayman Hakim. They're just behind him as well. So there they are at the bottom of the top 10.
There he is in P6. His last lap time, a 1:28.2. So that's pretty quick. There's only been a couple in the 120 and the 127s. Fastest lap so far from Alif Hamilton, of course, the 127.8. Now, can we look a little bit further down? Just a break away from the leading train, Alex, just for a very short while. Yeah. And let's look at the debutant, Haido, who's struggling. He's down in P24 at the moment. The Vietnamese debutant is suddenly realising, heck, this E1 Championship's not bad.
Yeah, that's a big baptism of fire for him. Not quite showing the pace, but it's his first race with us. So let's see if he gets better after this.
Leona Chin is a place further down. Daniel Reynoy is gallantly in P26, but Whelan Choi and Long Lei are out, and it looks like Alistair Young is out as well, or he's made a pit stop. Miko Nassi leads by 1.4 seconds.
Yeah, so he'll be very comfortable with that. Just behind him, though, look at that. This battle's not over. It's like a 5-car battle for position 2. Got the championship leader in the orange car there, Team Flash. Here we are looking back from him. He's in 2nd position right now, but look at that. Ibrahim's closing and using the DRS, just closing. Can he hold the DRS through 130R? Whoa, he does hold the DRS through 130R. That's mad to hold the DRS open through 130R, but somehow they can do it.
However, the lead for Nassi is 1.5 seconds, 3 minutes to race, which is what? Ooh, I tell you what, Alex, that could hurt Miko. There could be 3 laps to go. There could be 3 laps to go.
Yeah,
gosh,
could be. That's how fast they're going. With this battle, we just can't take our eyes off it at the moment, but it's just going. Look how fast these corners are. Through Dunlop, easy flat in these Formula 1S cars. Through Degner 1 and 2, looking good. Ibrahim's close enough at the moment. You got to think that he's going to have a look. There he is, riding on board with him. See, straights aren't that long here, you know, with these cars. You come through so fast. Has he got the rev limiter? I think he might be on the rev limiter. He's got to dive down the inside. Yeah, Elif has left the gap. And Ibrahim goes down the inside. Nicely done. And makes it through. Nice move there by Ibrahim. And he comes up to P2.
P2 for Mohammed Ibrahim. What's the gap between...
tag.
Oh, and he's taken out Nakib Aslan. Nakib and Ibrahim tagged as they both try and sort themselves out. Oh, Alex Young. What a problem for Stratos. And what a benefit for Miko Nassi and also for Mohammed Alif Hamilton. Okay, let's go back up to the front. Miko Nassi leads by 2.8 seconds. He's been very, very strong. 1:29.0 his last lap. Where are we now? Seconds to go. He's just crossed the start-finish line. He's got an extra lap to do, which means behind them, Mika Hakimi, Alex, will have a full lap with DRS on Mohammed Alif. Mika Hakimi could well be chasing his first P2 of the season. Yeah,
it'd be great to see RSG car back on the podium. We haven't seen one on the podium in a while there. But yeah, we're on board with Mika Hakimi. Let's see if he's going to be close enough. He's got to be nice. Oh, he's right on the limit there. There he is. You can see the young Malaysian there on the left-hand side of the screen right now. He's got to try and get close enough through the hairpin. You can have a go into Spoon, but I don't think that's the place to do it. I think he just wants to be nice and close to Spoon and try and do it on the run down to 130R.
This is the battle for P3 as they come around the hairpin. He didn't make that risk. They've got this long right-hander, then they go into 13 and 14, which is the double left-hander round spoon where the G-forces hit you. They are chasing Mikko Nassi. That wasn't Nassi, was it? No, Nassi is still leading. This is the chance for Hakimi. Hakimi, if he's going to get P2, if he's going to get past Hamilton, it needs to be now or never. Hakimi makes the move. Alif defends.
That was a bad move by Hakimi. He should have just waited till after 130R. To lift like that before 130R means he loses all the momentum. So he'll finish P3, but this is the man.
Mikko Nassi takes the victory. First of the season for Nassi. Alif comes home in P2, and Mika Hakimi gets his best result of the season. Nassi's second win of the season, apologies. Badly Rakhmat recovers to P4. Jason Tay 5, Tadashi 6, Troy Iman 7. But look way down, way down, way down. Nakib 21. What kind of a start does Perwin get? We thought Perwin would be quick, and the answer is he's not that quick because Ayman Hazik has gone into P1. Perwin ahead of Tarunya into P2. Tadashi in 3, Anton 4, Tay 5. Alif Hamilton up to P6, P7 already.
Let's see where the Stratos boys are. Nakib has not made any progress at all, has he?
Nakib P13.
P13, he's quite far. There he is, P13. Mohammed Ibrahim, though, down in P17, so he's not had a good job. So Ibrahim's done a quite good job to come from 18th position. And there's Ibrahim there. Oh, he's not really made some progress there as he goes through these corners.
There is the gap between Ibrahim in P16 and Fadli in P4. This is almost incidental to us. It's almost as a sympathy coverage of this because they are so far off the winning track. At the front, Ayman Hazik is facing pressure from Perwin, Tadashi, Tarunya, Tay, Inigo, Nassi has got ahead of Muhammad Alif into P7, Mikko Nassi.
Wow, good job by Mikko Nassi. There he is right now.
Kalen Chin, as you quite rightly say, has got himself up into P9. Oh, it's so tight in there.
Wow.
Nassi is overtaken by Hamilton.
Alif had a great move around the outside. Mikko Nassi getting caught up by traffic on the inside, and Alif just went round the outside of turn 17. Good job there by the Singaporean. I'm shocked. Do you think it could? If it could, that'd be a surprise. I did not think that it could. But could it? That's a really big question. Softs, definitely not. Softs definitely have to change, I feel.
Well, he allowed Tadashi to go into the lead. Ayman Hakim is the new race leader. Owen Tarunya goes through into P2. So the medium compound of Josh Perwin, is that the big gamble? I do like to see a gamble. He's holding off Ayman Hazik behind him. Up at the front, Hakim is facing pressure from Arwin Tarunya. I do like to see an Indonesian racer get close. Let's see what Tarunya does on this long, well, it's not a long straight, is it? This fast straight.
Wow.
You don't overtake here.
Yes.
You wait till now. He's done it beautifully.
Oh, dived on the so decides to back out right now. He feels, Taruna's actually a very experienced racer. We have not seen much of him in E1, but he knows what he's doing very much so in this game as well. So I think he's just holding on, just decided, oh, no, I just want to stay behind you. Use the, ooh, this is a good place to use the DRS. He's going to try and go around the outside. Can he go around the outside? Yes!
Oh, what a move. Round the first turn, leads through the S's up the hill.
Yeah.
Wow, what a move that was. Very interesting, but this is the storyline. Arwin Tarunya is really putting his foot down, Alex.
Oh, he's had a moment. He's had a moment. What happened
lost
there?
time. He lost time as well.
I think he's got very sideways in the lead there. Oh, that's how hard he was pushing. He was trying to break the DRS zone, and he made a mistake out of spoon. And yeah, I won't say all his hard work's undone, but really affected. Yeah, he has no chance of staying out of DRS now.
Okay, so now he can be caught. He looks a little bit stern, bottom left of your screen as they come into the home straight. It was here where he made such a fantastic move to get away from Ayman Hakim Tadashi on the last lap. But now look at that train. It was a remarkable move. He went round the outside of the first corner. Again, that camera does not like that little corner. The S has taken away from us as he goes past the Degner curve.
Oh, he's gone off. He's gone off.
He's made 2 mistakes now, and that means Tadashi is the new race leader.
Oh, but Taruna goes out just down the inside. But Taruna looking a little bit like Mohammed Ibrahim in race 2 as Mohammed Ibrahim in race 1. Some very poor mistakes at key moments of the race. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if Josh can make it through without pit stop. Oh, there he is, Kalen Chin. Very surprised Josh can make it through mediums without a stop, but maybe, you know, we've seen more incredible things. Look at this huge stream of cars just following the leaders right now. The big string of cars right now. There's no midfield. There's just one pack of cars as they go through this corner. Kalen Chin, though, in P8.
He's remarkable, Alif.
Yeah,
he is remarkable.
Yeah. He's just a different level from everyone at the moment, you know. I mean, he's just a consistency. His racecraft is what I really like. You know, people like to focus on his pace, but I like to focus on his racecraft. He always does the right thing at the right moment. This is a driver that you really, you know, at the top of his game. And I'd love to see him in a real car because I know he could translate this into a real car any day of the week.
We're coming towards the tail end of the lap. No, we've got this longest straight to come. Tarunya has been able to stay close to Ayman Hakim Tadashi. This will be the test because Tadashi, does he have DRS to use? I don't think he does he?
No,
so
he
Tarunya
doesn't.
can stay close.
But yeah, Taruna's not opening it until he gets to 130 yard. Then he opens it, and he's going to look down the outside. Yeah, not close enough at the moment. And Josh Perwin right now in P3 is just outside of DRS zone. He needs to get a bit closer, get a good drive out this last corner to try and get DRS zone of Taruna.
Perwin was just inside DRS. Perwin, conservative, medium compound. It is a question worth asking. Can medium last? We are what? 11 minutes into this race. I wish we had some access to how their tyres are lasting, Alex.
Yeah, I wish I could get that too, but they don't. These drivers used to stream their screens all the time. But the problem with that is then everyone can see their tire wear, and they've stopped streaming now because so we can't see their tires. Very crafty, but we're deprived of the spectacle of knowing where the tires are at the moment. Oh, Taruna, big bang around the outside, sends Hakim around.
And behind them, Josh Perwin closes in. That was real contact at the hairpin. A little bit of no love lost there. Indonesia, Malaysia can happen. And Tarunya has another go-around spoon. Perwin is waiting.
Yeah.
Perwin is perfectly placed in P3.
Tarunya, I mean, but this is suiting. Oh, and then Perwin.
Perwin loses to Ayman Hazik in P4.
I was going to say it's perfect for Perwin because he's right in the position. He's not stressing the tyres. You can watch the cars in front fight. But then he had to lift and allowed Hazik through. Hazik there, ERGP car. Oh, breaking down for the last corner. Then, oh, look at that. Look how they're all.
Oh, it's so tight.
They're all crowding. And now Leaf is up to P4.
Alex, P4. Tarunya. Everyone has got DRS, Alex. Everyone apart from Ayman Hakim Tadashi. But he is leading. Now, you talked about the dirty air. We haven't quite seen the overtaking I did expect on the long curve between 14 and 16. There is Alif, you mentioned him, Team Flash. He had a P2, was it P2 in race? He won race one.
Yeah, he won
race one.
No, P2 in race one. Miko Nasi won.
Miko Nasi won race one. Where is Miko Nasi? Miko Nasi, P8. Ali for P2 in race one. And here he's got himself into P4.
No, Miko Nasi's in the pits. That's why he's coming for his tyre change with the soft tyres. So we're just under halfway. And look at all these other cars are coming in for the stop.
Did Josh stay out?
Yeah, he did.
So Josh has lost a lot of ground as Mohammed Ibrahim moves into the top 7. Ayman Hakim still leads. Josh Perwin and Kalen Chin, they are both on medium compounds.
Of these soft tyre runners, him and the first 4 are the only guys who are able to go that extra lap. Miko Nasi, obviously too much tyre contact, and that means that he had to come in and pit a bit early.
Wow, so the DRS is on. This is fascinating. Tarunya is the leader. Tarunya hasn't come in for a pit stop yet. Soft compound, how late do you leave him? We are halfway through race number 2.
I mean, Tarunya's in the lead now. He's got a half a second gap as he come across some back markers. One of the Vietnamese drivers, there he is. Oh, that's not a good place to try and overtake. Risk contact, and there was some contact. But Tarunya at the moment looking good.
Long lay it was. Who's that gone into the pits? That is Tadashi. He's in the pits.
So's Tarunya.
Josh Perwin on the medium compound stayed out. Mohammed Nabil on soft stayed out. Kalen Chin on medium stayed out. Josh Perwin on the medium compound stayed out. Mohammed Nabil on soft stayed out. Kalen Chin on medium stayed out. Gosh, it's fascinating. Just while they carry on going, let's move down. Fadli Rakhmat, P4 in race 1 is P4 here. And Presley Martono is the man behind him, the 2 JMX Phantoms. But there's 3 seconds between them.
So these drivers are very interesting because Rakhmat, Martono and Alistair Young are all on the hard compound. So they are definitely doing a no-stop strategy. So if the hard tire is the place to be, you know, he's going to be leading, Fadli Rahman's going to be leading the race soon. So have JMX Phantom done the perfect strategy? Maybe this is the strategy to be on.
Has Josh Perwin done the perfect strategy? His medium compound, no. Josh is coming in. Josh into the pits.
Wow, so there we go. Into the pits come these drivers. These are all the medium shot drivers. Oh, where is it? Kalen Chin almost missed his pit box. So that's going to be a disaster for him.
Fadli Rahman, the new race leader.
JMX Phantom, could they be on for their first race win? The hard compound makes sense if you think you can go the whole race without a pit stop, but I just wonder, can they do that? So there's the top two JMX cars, and this is the battle for third position. These are the guys who are going to try and catch JMX Phantom. They have to go much quicker, but Alif Hamilton goes past the outside of Akeem. Great move by the Singaporean driver.
Alif is on the charge. Alif Hamilton is on the charge. He's just posted a 1:29.3, 1.5 seconds quicker than Fadli Rahmat's 1:30.8. The differential between them is 10 seconds. Well, there is no Alif in sight. Not yet. Oh, yes, there is.
Not close enough.
No, not yet. Not yet.
But it won't be long now. Alif is only 2 seconds behind the JMX Phantom car, so he's getting closer all the time.
9 minutes to race. The chase is on. The chase is on, but I think we know that the Hunter is very confident of getting his prey. Firstly, he's got to look after Presley, and Presley looks backwards onto the approaching menace that is the Singaporean Alif Hamilton.
Yeah, look at that. Alif's just getting closer and closer within DRS now. Just feel it's a matter of time. But Presley, will he play the team game? If he plays the team game, he needs to try and hold off Alif for as long as he possibly can to allow his teammate who's further up the road to try and get the win.
Well, that's some good defensive work. You've got the long straight down here. Now he might try and overtake around the outside of the first turn or go on the inside. This is P2 now for Mohammed Alif Hamilton. He's taken it.
I'm shocked. I really thought Martono was going to defend. If he defended, he could have held off Alif, and maybe that would have helped Fadli Rahman up the road, but I'm shocked he didn't try and defend that.
6 seconds the differential. Fadli's just done a 1:29.9. Alif a 1:28.9. So there's 8 minutes left. There are how many laps is 8 minutes? 1:33, 4.5, 5.5, 6 laps.
It's going to be close. I feel that Martono letting Alif by is going to cost Rahmat the win. If Martono had defended in turn 1, it could have kept Alif behind for one more lap. I think Rahmat could have won. But at the moment, I feel Alif is too close, and he's going to catch him before the end.
I can tell you that Presley Martono has also been overtaken by Ayman Hakim, or this time he's defending actually. This time he is defending, and Mika Hakimi is right on the tail of Tadashi as well, as they decide both to go on the inside. And Mika Hakimi, Alex, who picked up a podium in race 1, is in P3 again. What a turnaround in form this is from the young Malaysian.
Great. I mean, we've seen Hakimi's, have some very improved performances in ERGP, and he's just coming into E1. It's great to see him coming in for potentially another podium performance.
So Hakimi is there. Presley trying to hold off to Dashi. Hakimi on to P3. We're going to stick with
This championship leader is just extending his championship. This is why he's been so impressed with this young man. And, he's got to buy this time 5 minutes to go, so he can pick and choose his moment, make sure he does it in such a way that it make it very hard for Rahmat to retake the lead.
It is almost cruel, isn't it? It's almost like he's toying with his prey. Alif, he's there, Mr. JMX Phantom. Come on. I've caught you now. Now I'm going to make my move. Or is he looking close?
Looks on the inside, not quite able to do it there. Good decision not to do it there, to be honest. He wants to try and do it on the start-finish line because then you have DRS for the next lap as well. With
back markers as well, just to complicate matters as they come down this longest straight through 14, 15, 16. And, you be careful. You don't want to make a mistake. He doesn't make many mistakes, Alif. And caution is there, which allows Mika Hakimi to come back into reckoning. But now this is the race. This is the moment. Alif Hamilton eases past Fadli Rahmat. A brave gamble from Fadli. It lasted 26 minutes.
Yeah, almost worked. Not able to do it though. There he is, Alif Hamilton though. Great job by him. Coming from, where was he? P10 in this race to get back up into the lead.
Wow, this man is just so good. Fadli Rakhmat in P2. Fadli must now focus on Mika Hakimi, because Mika is only a second behind Fadli, and you'd fancy Mika's chances of making it into the top two very, very quickly. There he is, closing. And poor old Fadli is being picked off one by one.
Yeah. So Mika, look how close he is right now as he comes out of the hairpin right now. It's going to be tough. He's not going to be able to hold off the RSG cars, because not even Mika just behind, but Ayman Hakim, his teammate, right there as well.
I can tell you the medium compound of Josh Perwin, he's down in P9. He was very quick, a mini gamble from Josh. Tell you what, we've got so many questions to ask these boys, but Mika Hakimi looks for P2. He's got Tadashi very close. Tadashi's pulled that gap back quite considerably. It was 2 seconds, I think, at one stage. But Dashi has just put in a 1:28.8, 8/10 quicker than Mika Hakimi, who's being held up by Fadli Rakhmat. You've got a team RSG battle for P2.
Yeah, so which one's going to win out of this? They've both got DRS. Oh, Hakim just goes by. That's quite almost too easy. I feel like Hakimi let him through just now.
So Tadashi into P2. Sorry, into P3. Fadli still holding on into P2.
Yeah, it won't be for long though. Strange how Mika let him through. I tell you, RSG cars are really good in the toe. They're very good with the dirty air. Look how close you can follow the JMX Phantom orange car right now.
Well then, okay. What is the gap at the front? 4 seconds for Alif. Alif is just pulling away. He's just posted a 1:30.0 off the back of a 1:27.2. This is still the battle for P2. Fadli Rakhmat, big credit to the boy. He's held on and held on and held on. He's just postponing, you feel, though, the inevitable. He doesn't have DRS, does he? Surely he's been caught as Tadashi goes on the inside, and Tadashi edges through into P2. Fadli is squeezed outwards. Now then, maybe Mika Hakimi, Alex, is being very cute and has had DRS on Tadashi going into the final lap.
Wow,
that's the story.
Nicely done. Both RSG cars now up to second and third. Now, which of these cars is going to finish second and third? That is the question.
But DRS for Hakimi, Alex.
Yeah, DRS for both. Well, no, you're right. Ayman doesn't have it. Mika Hakimi does.
Hakimi, well, that is clever. That is cute. And that, if it comes off, is very successful. Fadli P4, and he's got Arwin Tarunya to worry about now. Arwin is making a great move, as is Ayman Hazik. Can Fadli hold off 2 more challenges? The hard compound strategy, he's holding on for dear life. And Tadashi, incidentally, has fizzed away from Hakimi.
Yeah, so this Fadli Rakhmat there. Ayman Hazik just behind him. And you're right, Taruna there trying to close the gap. No, this is the last lap, so I don't think it's going to be close enough.
This is the last lap indeed. We must very quickly go to the man who will win the race, just overtaking, I think that's Jay Yank. He's gone past there. Oh no, Haido it is. He's just gone past. This is our race winner. It's another superlative 1-2 weekend for Alif, and a third in qualification as well. Behind them, Tadashi is holding on. He has withheld the challenge of Mika Hakimi, who will pick up a second straight podium. Fadli Rakhmat is holding on, and he will hold on for a P4. But up at the front, Alex Young, it is going to be a victory. Win number 5 in 8 races for R. Mohammed Alif Hamilton from Singapore.
Great job. Look how happy he is with that. Fantastic result by the Singaporean. Wow, and it was really good day work for him, especially with his rivals falling at the wayside. Just really did that good job there, took his time through the traffic very early on, didn't try and rush too much, and just made his way and just at the right times, knew when to push, and he's rewarded with another reverse grid win.
Last week in Suzuka, it was action-packed.
South Motorsport lost both their cars. The collateral damage was Naqib Aslan.
I was very clueless. I was really close to Alif behind. The next thing you know, I think Alif made contact, and then that somehow sent me in the wall.
The return of Miko Nasi.
Miko Nasi with his second win of the season.
Miko Nasi takes the victory.
Got the win after a good battle in race 1. Unfortunately, I messed up a little bit in race 2 with pit speed limiter. Could have been better, of course, race 2, but we have to be happy with what we got.
And of course in race 2, it's Haruna there getting some nice points.
He was leading for quite a while.
Oh, what a move.
I enjoyed the race, but there are slight disappointment because I didn't finish on the podium. Opportunity was there.
Arwin Taruna has been great. He's really worked hard and put in a really solid show in Suzuka. Solid weekend for us.
And of course, nice to see JMX Phantom leading at the front for a long time.
The star of the show for JMX Phantom was Fadli Rakhmat. 2 fourth-place finishers.
Fadli Rakhmat recovers to P4.
Overall, last week was a great race for us. This is the first time that we were able to keep up with the likes of Flash and Stratos, ending up 4th with a good chance to win at the end. I think it was a really solid performance.
Mika Hakimi.
On the podium in both races.
The best result I can get this season. The season has not been particularly good for me. Definitely not been easy, but I think I'm quite satisfied with how things went at Suzuka.
Heading into the second half of the season, really becoming the Alif Hamilton show.
It's going to be very tough to catch him.
It is my 5th win in a row. Did not expect having 5 wins out of 8 in such a tight season like this.
Aragon's another fast circuit.
It has a lot of blind corners, which makes it very tricky to drive.
I had my first taste in it in ERGP.
Track limits is such a major issue here.
It's going to be a new experience for me. I'm gonna just dive bomb.
Trying to manage my tires.
Hopefully getting the points again.
For Aragon, we will have a Joker format. But what will it be? Stay tuned to find out.
Hello and welcome to Season 1 of the E1 Championship. We're here for Round 5, racing in Spain tonight. Motorland Aragon based in Alcanitz. I'm Daniel Woodruff, your host for tonight. With me, as always, is Alex Young, the race director of the E1 Championship. And with us tonight in the commentary box, we have Des Corkill and Amo making his return. Hello, gentlemen. Don't forget, you can catch all of Season 1's action live on the EGG network every Wednesday at 9 p.m. And don't forget, you can also follow us with all the behind-the-scenes action on our Facebook pages of the E1 Championship and the EGG network. Now, last week, we raced at Dez's favorite circuit in the whole world, Suzuka in Japan. It's also one of my favorite circuits. Very quickly, Alex, how did you find that race? What's a quick roundup?
Well, okay, I mean, Suzuka is one of the best tracks in the world. Drivers love driving it because it's kind of scary and it's so rewarding to drive on. It's not the best track to race on. Races there can be a bit boring. However, we saw 2 exciting races last weekend.
Des, I have to ask you as well, how did you find Suzuka?
Well, I was a little bit surprised, actually, that there weren't more overtaking maneuvers on the long straight coming into the final hairpin, but it's such a beautiful circuit, spoon curve, coming around and into that long straight.
It is a beautiful track. Let's go and take a look at the highlights from Round 4 at Suzuka.
And there is our pole sitter, and he gets off to a good start. Wow, Alif Hamilton takes the lead. Miko, oh, there's contact round. Oh, more contact. That's in front.
Good job by the Finnish driver.
Mika Hakimi could well be chasing his first P2 of the season. Miko Nasi takes the victory. We are underway. Ayman Hakim is the new race leader. This is P2 now for Mohammed Alif Hamilton. Though Hakimi is there. Presley trying to hold off to Dashi. Hakimi on to P3. Alif Hamilton eases past Fadli Rakhmat. You've got a Team RSG battle for P2. And Tadashi edges through into P2. Win number 5 for Mohammed Alif Hamilton from Singapore. Official results, the overall final results. Mohammed Ibrahim fastest in qualifying. See, Fadli Rakhmat got fast qualifying and P4 as well, but Miko Nasi picking up his 2nd victory of the season, having qualified 4th fastest. And then Mohammed Ali, his 5th win in 8 ahead of Tadashi. And Mika Hakimi had 2 spells on the podium, 2 third places, very impressive in the overall weekend, though, are Muhammad Ali. 52 points out of a possible 57. My word, he is skating away with it.
So we can see Alif Hamilton over there pulling his points lead up at the front again. Now we're officially halfway through the season. We're at round 5 of 8. Some say, Alex, that Alif might be a little bit too far ahead for anybody else to catch, but we think it's still too early to call.
Yeah, it is too early to call. I mean, it is a huge lead, and the way Alif is driving, it's not just the lead. He's driving so well, it's going to make him very hard to catch. But we're just over halfway through the season. We have got drop points, and when you consider drop points, it will close down the gap a bit more. And don't forget, the last round, double points.
It is motorsports. Anything can happen. Let's put a spotlight on something a little bit more controversial that we saw at round 4 in Suzuka. I'm of course talking about the little incident. I say little incident, it really wasn't a little incident. It had some pretty severe ramifications between the teammates at Stratos Motorsports. Before we delve into some of that analysis, let's take a look and see what happened.
Ibrahim gets off to a good start.
Naqib Aslan, you know, he's second in the championship right now. Will the race come to him? That's a high-risk move, though. Somehow he squeezes down the inside of the hairpin.
P2 for Mohammed Ibrahim. What's the gap between... Oh, and he's taken out. Naqib Aslan. Naqib and Ibrahim tag as they both try and sort themselves out. Oh, Alex Young. What a problem for Stratos.
So when we were commentating at round 4, we didn't quite get all of those angles, but in the last week we've had every angle possible and we've been able to see exactly what happened. But for the newcomers watching today, what exactly happened,
Well,
Alex?
okay, so you had the championship rivals, Alif leading the championship and Naqib in second. They were fighting hard for the bottom of the podium positions with Miko Nasi and Muhammad Ibrahim. Don't forget, Ibrahim was on pole. For me, he was the favorite to win that race. And they were battling really hard. However, coming to the end of the race, the tires are getting worn. And we saw going to the chicane, Alif and Ibrahim just had a small contact with the chicane. It gave Ibrahim a small punch here. Then that's him getting sideways on the way out of the corner. Collected his teammate, Naqib Aslan, and both Stratos cars out of the race. And both of them will not score points in the next race either because they started right at the back. So the Stratos Motorsport took very little points. I think they took like 3 points away from that last round. So a bit of a disaster. Very unlucky for Naqib, I have to say, because he was just a passenger and he got taken out there. And funnily enough, it was Alif who got scot-free when you could argue that he might have started that with that small contact with Ibrahim.
That's right, it definitely was a disaster points-wise. Des, you were commentating when that happened. Now looking at the replays, do you think it was just an honest racing mistake?
So this has been very educational this week for me in that I love the rough and tough stuff going on. I love the contact. But there have been ramifications because apparently Mohammed Ibrahim was not listening to his team manager who was saying, just hold back, keep it easy, we've got time. Ibrahim has decided to go for it, which I applaud, but against team orders, and it's had real ramifications for him.
And let's talk about those ramifications, Alex. Now, there's been a little bit of a shock announcement going into round 5 today at Aragon, and that's to do with the driver lineup at Stratos Motorsports.
Yes, it was Mohammed Ibrahim, but he's been dropped. And instead, we have Mohammed Nabil Aslan. So this is the brother of Naqib. So the brother's coming in and replacing Ibrahim in that number 2 Stratos Motorsport car. We know Nabil's a good driver. He finished 3rd at the very first race at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. So we know he can be quick, but those are big shoes to fill.
I feel like we're the Formula 1 paparazzi. Now, there's a lot that we can talk about here, a lot of speculation, but I think it'd be best for us to speak to the source of what happened. Speaking, of course, to the team principal of Stratos Motorsports, James Russell. Let's see if we can get him on the line. There he is in his Stratos Motorsports outfit.
Hello.
James, hello. So, of course, we've just introduced on the show what's happened with the driver lineup, but I think what everybody's going to be asking is why the switch up?
I mean, we had a few incidents throughout the season where things didn't quite go to plan and things weren't working as well as they should have. Unfortunately, it came to a bit of a head at the last race where literally the two of them came together. So something had to be done, and that was what was done.
Fair enough, and I guess it was a difficult decision, but something that team managers do have to do. But looking forward, coming into tonight in Spain, tell us a little bit more about your new driver and why him?
Well, he's not exactly a new driver to us. He has raced with Stratos many times before, both in ERGP and in the Endurance Series. And actually, he's been our reserve driver for the whole season of E1. And he's been qualifying through the leaderboard to be racing as well. And he's had some really good results. I mean, despite having to carry the 15 kilos extra weight, which the leaderboard drivers have to do, he's had some very good results, and he's got some good points in the championship. So hopefully now we take those 15 kilos off. Now that he's in the green car, hopefully he can continue that.
For sure. Well, James, we could spend all night talking about your strategy and what you're doing differently with your new driver lineup, but best of luck. We'll see what you guys can get up to in Spain tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, now, Alex, I'm going to bring some harder questions maybe to you. What was it a good move? Straight up.
Well, only time will tell. I mean, it's a hard move to make. I mean, Ibrahim's a really exciting driver to watch. I've loved watching him this season. He's fast, and he's really highly rated. You know, on iRacing, he's one of the best drivers in the region, complete hands down. And you've seen how fast he's adapted to RaceRoom. He had pole position in the last race. So those are big shoes to fill, and it was a difficult decision to make. But these are the sort of decisions team managers have to make, and they live and die by them. You know, by the end of the season, we might be going, "Wow, what an inspired move! It really turned it around," or we might be going, "Whoa, that really compromised the season." And that's why they get paid the big bucks.
We've seen some interesting strategies from Stratos Motorsports in the past. Are they going to be doing anything differently now because they know that their setup has someone else has their setup?
Well, this is the thing, though. Yeah, Ibrahim has the setup, but you always have to refine the setup. It's always been refined, so I don't think that'd be an issue at all. And so far, you know, Stratos Motorsport, when it comes to making the right strategy calls and the right setup calls, they've been getting it right a lot, so I don't think that'd be an issue.
Well, we've seen some poor performances from Stratos last race. Let's focus on some teams that had stronger performances in Suzuka. Let's start with Team RSG. That's a team that really showed up consistently in Season 0. They maybe didn't quite maintain that at the start of Season 1, but coming into Suzuka, Mika Kimi had a double P3, we had Ayman with a P2. What have they done differently, Alex?
Well, they finished second in Season 0, so we know they're a strong team, but they were just started the season a bit weakly. Not as strong as they normally do, and been a bit up and down. Last two races have been a lot better for them. I still don't think they're out of the hole yet. They need to find a bit more speed to add to that consistency that they seem to be getting right now, and then we'll see them firing on all cylinders.
And speaking of ups and downs, this is a team that I know you like to follow, Des. JMX Phantom, the Indonesian-based outfit, they've been putting in some strong performances at the start of every race evening, but finally managed to put it together at the end in Suzuka. We had Fadli Rahmat with a double P4. Do you think they can do one better tonight?
I do feel that there's a gap between Team Flash and Team RSG and what the Indonesian team have been able to produce so far. But JMX, they showed their potential. I've been a big fan of Fadli for the last 12 months or so. He's always been quick, and in this championship, yeah, we know he's quick, and now he's put some points on the board as well, 2 fourths. Can he go better? Yes. Can he win it? That's a big ask.
Speaking of another driver winning, Mikko Nasi, I feel like I should cover this one and maybe give my apologies, because I know a few races ago I did say that Mikko Nasi disappointed me because I knew he should have been at the front. And true to the commentator's curse, or the opposite of the commentator's curse, Mikko Nasi bounced back with a P1 once again in the E1 Championship in Suzuka. And his teammate Arwin Taruna as well, doing very, very well, Alex. Putting in a P6, his debut in the top 10. So I'm sure that's another team that we will be looking out for tonight on another very fast track in Alcanitz in Spain. But before we get to all that action, let's see some of the highlights from these teams from last round.
You've got a Team RSG battle for P2.
Oh, Hakim just goes by. Hakim let him through.
Tadashi goes on the inside, and Tadashi edges through into P2. Now then, maybe Mika Kimi, Alex, is being very cute and has had DRS on Tadashi going into the final lap.
Wow,
that's the story.
Nicely done. Both RSG cars now up to second and third.
Tadashi withheld the challenge of Mika Kimi, who will pick up a second straight podium.
We just talked about Fadli Rakhmat. There he is, fighting with his teammate at the moment.
Fadli Rakhmat recovers to P4. It's on Fadli now. If he can keep on, he might just have enough. This is the moment. Alif Hamilton eases past Fadli Rakhmat. A brave gamble from Fadli. It lasted 26 minutes. Fadli Rakhmat is holding on, and he will hold on for a P4. There is Nasi in P3, looking as usual very cool. Nasi getting very aggressive. Oh, more contact.
Nasi's in front right now. Good job by the Finnish driver.
Mikko Nasi takes the victory. First of the season for Nasi.
Taruna right now. Oh, he's got up to P2. Did a great move around the outside of Josh of turn 1. He's going to try and go around the outside. Can he go around the outside? Yes!
Oh, what a move.
Taruna, big bang around the outside, sends Hakim around.
After all of that action on track at Suzuka, let's take a look at the championship standings ahead of round 5.
Competitive, apart from Alif Hamilton being 79 points clear of Nakib Aslan, but only 11 points between Tadashi and Nakib Ifo for P2, and not too far away both Mikko Nasi and Josh Perwin. Don't count them out, and with double points in the last round, this championship ain't over. In the overall team standings, I can tell you Team Flash are romping away with it. That combination of Alif and Jason Tay accumulating 281 points, but it's tight behind them. Stratos, despite last week's problems, 177 points. RSG 163. Safe House 97. Not too far behind them are ERacing GP, who've got a very interesting lineup this week.
Now, championship points aren't just important for eventually winning the championship and getting a little bit of that $15,000 cash pool, but it also has an influence on today's Joker format. Now, Alex, I'll let you explain that, but let's go straight to the graphic of understanding tonight's race format.
Well, I mean, the Joker format is going to be a bit different this weekend because we decided by the very beginning of the season that this round would be a Joker format. And we could basically decide what we wanted to do. We could do an hour race, we could do 10 5-minute races, whatever we wanted to do. In the end, though, we decided let's try and keep a little bit of similarity. So we didn't change it around too much, but it is different. So qualifying does matter. Qualifying does count. We still have qualifying because you got the top 5 who get score points. However, there is a difference that the qualifying will not set the grid for race 1. So for race 1, the grid will be decided by championship orders in reverse position for the top 20. So the top 20 in the championship are reversed. So whoever's 20th is first, and Alif, who's 1, will be down in 20th position. And then the rest of the grid will be in championship order. So that should make for a very exciting race 1. And then race 2 will be the same as normally is, which is a reverse grid of race 1. And we'll spin the wheel to see how much we reverse.
Well, it's definitely going to spice things up. Let's jump into a little bit more detail about the championships formats.
And here we go. Here's the calendar.
Yep, let's take a look. We've gone to Austria, we've gone to Germany, we've gone to America, we've gone to Asia, and now we're back in sunny Spain.
Yeah, back to Europe. And now we're racing at Motorland Aragon. It actually, track difficulty 5 out of 10, actually it should be 7 out of 10. It's a very tricky track to drive. There's a lot of long corners where you need a rhythm. But the corners tighten up. A lot of these long radius corners tighten up quite a bit. So if you're a bit too greedy with the throttle, you're always going to run off track, and track limits will be a problem here. So the drivers are a bit more smoother, gets to those early turn-ins to the apex, and are a bit patient with the throttle. They're going to be quick here. If you're too aggressive, like to brake super late and stab the throttle, you're going to be very slow.
All right, and here's a graphic to help you explain in a little bit more detail, Alex, the Joker format for tonight.
Yeah, so there's the Joker format. You can see there's qualifying. Does not determine the starting position. Race 1 is a 20-minute race, but of course reverse grid for championship standings like I just discussed. And race 2, another 20-minute race, but as per usual, reverse grid for race 1.
There's our top 20 that is going to be reversed for tonight. And who does that put on pole? It puts Jackton Chung up at the front, the Hong Kong driver, and the fast Filipino back in P2.
And for the points, this is why we have qualifying, so we can still give points away for qualifying. So the top 5 will score points, and that's what they'll be fighting for. And of course, the race points are still going to be the same. 25 for the win, all the way down to 15 for 1 point for both races.
And there's the ultimate name of the game. It's to get a little piece of that $15,000 cash prize pool, $5,000 ultimately going to our champion. Now, this Joker format is going to disadvantage a lot of people, but it's going to put some drivers in a position that they're not very used to. Jack Tin-chung up in pole. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Is he going to hold his own?
Well, you know, we've not seen much of him because he's always been in the mid-pack, but he's one of the best drivers from Hong Kong. He's fantastic in the racing game. He's still a bit inexperienced with this particular car, and I want to see him at the front because I know he's got great racecraft.
Well, I'm excited to get this racing underway, but first, a very short break. Don't go anywhere.
RSG is a full-time esports team. We are one of the biggest esports team in Southeast Asia. We want to bring out new talent and of course be champions to all esports titles. My name is Aiman Wafi bin Roslan. I am head of operation for RSG Malaysia, responsible for team performance of all esports teams under RSG Malaysia. RSG wants to join E1 is because we saw a lot of potential for us to bring new talents. We try to find the best local drivers out there. Aiman won a lot of achievement and Mika is an up and coming talent that we saw a huge potential in him. We are aiming for championship. We want the best of the best out there. Our expectation was quite high.
Ayman Hakim picks up maximum points. Ayman Hakim will make it back-to-back wings. A big smile. Mika holds on from Naki Baslam.
My name is Ayman Hakim, also known as Tadashi, representing RSG for E1 Season 1.
My name is Mika Hakimi from Team RSG. I'm a Malaysian professional sim racing driver and professional racing driver.
Started racing when I was 8 years old on EAF1 2002. Then I won the Malaysia Cyber Game. My friend Sim Kaiwan brought me to Loyat to get my first PC and my first simulator, and that's where he kick-started my journey for sim racing.
I've always liked racing as a child. My dad always brought me to the F1 races because he used to work really close with the Petronas Mercedes teams. The first time I tried the sim at Sepang, I was actually pretty good at it, and that's how it all started.
Ayman Hakim, he's a sim driver for sure, and he won it with RSG, which is definitely an esports team.
In short bursts, he can attack aggressively than I can.
He's a bit furious whenever there's mistakes, but that shows how passionate he is. Mika is always maintaining his composure.
He's a hardworking guy.
RSG, you know, they're an esports team. They've come to E1, they had good success in Season 0, but I feel they're not working with enough motorsport people.
We thought that only hiring the drivers is enough.
Our task is a bit bigger.
I'm the one who did most of the setup.
So I think RSG need to look at maybe some smart partnerships with some of the other motorsport teams.
There are helps that we got, which is from Kaiwan and Abby.
Abby is more like Ayman's personal race engineer. Kaiwan, he's been working with Ayman for I think 5 years already.
I have a lot of advice from my engineers, from Kaiwan and Abby, and yeah, we really owe them a lot.
Being able to work on the bounce and modify strategy with what you have is very, very important.
We still want to maintain podium.
I'll definitely be doing things a lot more differently because I've got a lot more time on my hands now.
We learned from last season, so we know what the weakness and strengths are.
RSG was very quick in Season 0.
Mika Hakimi, who did really well in his first RaceRoom competition.
We had a big battle this season. It makes me want to beat him even more.
I know that they're going to perform well.
We are very confident in ourselves.
We're doing great so far.
And I can't wait to win races.
Respect all, fear none.
Welcome back to the E1 Championship, where we're racing in Alcanitz in Spain. We have qualifying starting very soon, and we have that Joker format that's going to affect our lineup for race 1. But before we get to that, let's take a look at our driver lineup for tonight's action. So, Stratos Motorsports, where we're having that driver lineup shaker. We've got Naqib Aslan and his brother, Nabil Aslan, side by side. Is there going to be brotherly conflict on track?
Oh, I bet. Then we got Safe House, cars number 3 and 4, Arwin Turuna from Indonesia, and Mikko Nasi from Finland, who won last time out at Suzuka.
Next we have our boys in blue, Team RSG, back on their tip-top form, collecting their points as they should be. Are they going to keep that up for tonight? I really do hope so.
And then next up, we have the sister team of Stratos. This is Scuderia Stratos, and as Des likes to call them, the Malaysian boy band, Troy Ayman, age 17, and Arif Asmi, age 16.
Then we have GT Radio Eurasia Motorsports with the fast Filipinos, Inigo, Anton, and Joaquin Garrido, who will be starting in P2 in race 1 with that reverse starting grid format.
Okay, now with Black Wolf Racing, and they have a driver shake-up. Kalen Chin is there as per usual, but Mohamed Zini is taking over from Daniel Uy, who has just been flat out with work, and be interesting to see how Zini goes.
And then I1 Racing, the Brunei-based outfit. I really do love this team car color. It really is my favorite color, with Benjamin Seek and Lance Lau alongside him.
And then we have JMX Phantom from Indonesia, top Indonesian team. Presley Martono, he's had pole this year. Let's see if he can get his first win. And Fadli Rahmat, who's been on the podium, but showing great pace lately.
Black Arts Racing, a team that needs no introduction in the traditional motorsport scene, fielding Josh Perwin, who's been really showing up in the last few races in Season 1. Alongside him, Alistair Young, a familiar last name.
And then we have another very similar liveried car, and it's a Z Challenger, Hong Kong team. And you got Jaktin Chung, he'll be starting on pole today in race 1, and Jay Young from Taiwan.
And Team Flash, Alif Hamilton, a man that needs no introduction to the E1 Championship, all the way up in P1 in the championship standings, and alongside him, Jason Tay.
And then we have Vietnamese, Some Saigon United Motorsports, E1 Vietnam team, and we have Long in car number 31 and Hui in car 32. New team and getting stronger all the time.
And for the EGG Network team, we have Leona Chin, a familiar face, but an unfamiliar face coming all the way from Italy, Ottaviani, Alessandro Ottaviani, racing alongside her.
Yeah, he'll be quick today. And then the ERGB leaderboard team, Ayman Haziq there from Malaysia, and a guy that we've seen quite often before, Francis Angelo Gonzalez. And they're in cars 21 and 22.
Now we know the E1 Championship has a very strong driver lineup, but in race 1, we're going to see something that we haven't really seen before. We're really shifting the entire top 20, and it means that we're going to have a lot of drivers that aren't used to being up at the front, starting at the front. What's that going to do for the racing?
Well, it's going to mean the racing is going to be very close. A lot of the faster guys trying to come through. We've seen reverse grid races before anyway, so that's going to be exciting. I'm very keen to see how Jaktin does. Like I said, he's an experienced driver, and even though he's 20th in the championship, I expect he'll try and stay hard. Obviously, he's going to work hard, try and stay at the front. But there are a lot of quick guys coming up behind him.
Talking of quick guys, our Italian driver, a new driver to the E1 Championship, Mr. Ottaviani. Des, what do you think of him? Have you seen him race before?
Yeah, he was involved in a race at the weekend in another competition, but he was based in Italy, racing against Asian racers, and he went and won race 1. He was outstandingly quick around this same Aragon course as well. So this Ottaviani, he could be a wild card that causes real upsets. It could be he could be something that changed the whole shape of today's races.
All right, well, we are coming towards the end of our practice session, right before qualifying. So to walk you through the action, I'm going to hand it over to the commentary box where we have Des and Amo.
Amir Haziq joining me. Amo, welcome back. A familiar name and a familiar voice from earlier on in this season. Amo, we've been talking a lot about what's been going on. You've been witnessing everything. Ottaviani, firstly, is my first question. Is he likely to be a challenge to Muhammad Ali Hamilton?
In a nutshell, I'd say yes. But from the back of the grid, that will be a tall order, especially given the fact that qualifying, he might get points there. But in the race itself, he's going to have a lot of work to do to get up to the front.
Okay, qualifying, when we get into it, is a standalone competition in its own right. It normally gets you your place on the grid. Today, it's just up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, soft compound tires for everybody, obviously, and just go hell for leather because you've got nothing to lose, literally nothing.
Yeah, literally, they can just go, as you said, hell for leather, full pelt, whatever analogy you can use for that. Then you can just go for it all out. But for the race itself, they're going to have to be very, very conservative, especially with the fact that tire wear is going to be a major factor here at Aragon.
Okay, we can get onto the race itself just in a little while. We know about Hamilton, of course. We've had our opinions on the likes of Team RSG, the Team Safe House. Who, other than the big names, has impressed you in the 4 rounds so far?
Well, I would say Miko Nasi, of course, other than the front-running trio in the championship. Miko, we kind of thought that he might be leading the championship at this point, but has not been yet. But at least he's got 2 wins so far. So at least for him, we can single him out as one of the drivers in contention for this race.
There is a reminder that this time last season, Mikko Nassi was going into this round and he got a penalty in round 4 that changed the whole complexion. So those who are thinking the title is over, forget that. Plus this Joker format, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in stages. The qualification is worth 5 points, but then the reverse grid, that puts the cat amongst the pigeons. You're a former racer yourself. How would you approach this?
Well, I'm still currently racing anyway, but yeah, that's besides.
Sorry, I do apologise. You're a current racer yourself, and a distinguished one. I apologise.
Yeah, but anyhow, yeah, approaching the qualifying, especially the fact that with the format that we're going in, this Joker format, we can literally just push all out and not worry about the consequences. But having said that, the championship positions that we scored prior to this is actually going to be our own downfall. So it's up to us to actually make that up for this one. So it's interesting how this format actually shakes up everything.
And there's a reverse grid for race number 2 as well. So yeah, that's why it's called a Joker format. Alex does like to change things up quite a bit. Let's see how effective it is, starting with the qualification period. Guys have got 5 minutes to post us the fastest lap time. As an experienced racer, Amo, what would you think is a good time around this circuit?
About 125, because Alessandro Ottaviani himself set 25s around the circuit in the time trial mode. This is without tire wear and fuel wear. So he can do this actually as well during the actual session. So it'll be interesting to see if he can push it even further, because he is one of the guys to watch out for in this round.
Okay, qualification is just about ready to go. They have got 5 minutes. Now we can't ignore Mohammed Alif Hamilton. So Alif Hamilton, let's just see how he goes as he comes around the hairpin at the end of the circuit. Do you want to talk us around the circuit, Amo?
All right, here we go then. Up through the short chute that goes into the start-finish line. This is what coming out to turn 1. Many issues will happen here during the MotoGP race, but in E1 as well, we're going to see a lot of drivers come through, 28 of them. So through turn 1 and turn 2 there safely, it's almost flat through turn 2. Coming out to turn 3, I don't see any lift here, so Alif then going full pelt. I'm coming to turn 4. This is one of the tough areas to brake. We can see a lot of lockups happening because the radius tightens up on the way out. Then through now at turn 6 and 7, pretty much the same as turn 3 and 4, but except it's much tighter. Then coming up to turn 8, this is the waterfall section. Unfortunately, the camera has lost it for a second. There we go. This is one of the highest points to the circuit. It descends well, about 20 meters at least. It's about 2 stories tall. So if you're at the circuit itself there, you can see how deep the drop is. Now coming up through turn 10 and 11, it's actually 11 right here, coming up to turn 12. So it's 3 corners in a row despite a bit of slight change in direction. Turn 12 and 13, it's just a mirror of each other. Still quite neat and tidy so far from Alif. He keeps it within the lines, a bit of a runoff area right there. Now through turn 14 and 15 up to the onto the back straight. The longest straight here is about 1 kilometer long, coming up to the final turn, the final 3 turns, which is turn 16, 17, 18. Here's the first bit. We're going to see a lot of DRS overtakes here, as we saw in the weekend competition that these guys were competing in last weekend.
Through fastest through 1 and 2.
And 18 and 19. Sorry. Through turn 16, 17, and then 18 as he comes onto the start finish line. Looks good so far.
Oh, he was quick, but I don't think he's going to be fastest. Indeed, he's second fastest. Nakib Aslan is the man who set the fastest time so far. Alessandro, the Italian, is in P2. Inigo Anton from the Philippines, he's posted a decent time. 1:26.2 is for Inigo Anton. Nakib Aslan, indeed, as you suggest, is in the 1:25s, as is Ottaviani. He's a 1:25.9. Some really fast times going on. Kalen Chin, he's on a fast lap as well, Amo.
Yeah, looking good so far through sectors 1 and 2. In fact, I don't see the lap times at the moment. Maybe he kind of cut the track, but he's still going for it. As he comes across the line now, still 4 fastest. Is he going to improve? Not this time. Still 4 fastest, by almost 2 tenths.
Nakib Aslan, it is the man who holds on to the fastest lap at the moment. Here is Nakib Aslan once again. His time of 1:25.944. 500ths quicker than Alessandro Ottaviani, the wild card in from Italy. How's this looking for Nakib?
So far so good. In fact, he's only 300ths off in that first sector, so he's going to try to improve his lap times here, coming through the second and third sectors. He's coming out to the second sector soon. And where's he coming up here through turn 11 up to turn 12? He'll break the sector timing beams as he comes through here now. Turn 14, then 15. coming up soon. Let's see then. Here's turn 14, turn 15. Behind after this one, that's the second sector timing beam. Is he going to be up or is he going to be down on his previous best? It's actually up by 2/10.
Oh, that's quick. Naqib Aslan already on pole, but Josh Perwin has just gone quicker, a 1:25.8, so Naqib has got to be quicker, Ammo.
Yep, coming out to the final 3 corners now. 3:10s actually up on Josh's lap time. So this is going to be good for pole, but how far up is he going to be?
Naqib Aslan, he comes through as he breaks the tape. The timing beam tells us that he is fastest ahead of Josh Perwin, but that is quick, and what a response from the Stratos Motorsports team. He leads. Perwin is in P2. Alessandro Ottaviani is in P3. Arwin Tarunya 4, and that pushes Mohammed Alif out of the points. Naqib at the moment has picked up 5 points. Kalen Chin's gone fast, a P4. Alif is out on the circuit. Can he get a decent time in the time left?
Wow, we do or die here for him coming through. But we're looking at Ottaviani right now. These two are almost in the same vicinity. Looks like it's not going to be enough time for Ottaviani to actually cross the line here, so it'll be nip and tuck. He might actually get pole position or might not be getting a pole position if the timer runs out.
Okay, we are just waiting for the final countdown of times. At the moment, Ottaviani is in P4. Naqib Aslan will pick up the 5 points available. It doesn't matter in the race because we already know the positions, but Naqib, Kalen Chin, Josh Perwin, Ottaviani and Arwin Tarunya, as it stands at the moment, are the ones who are going to be going away with the points. Alif Hamilton out of the points at the moment. We are waiting the final confirmation, but at the moment, Alex Young, Naqib is waiting patiently for you to find out his views on his performance and his 5 points.
Wow, that was a good lap, wasn't it? Good lap by Naqib there. Over a 10. We'll just see if we can try and find him.
It was. He is back. After a disappointing round 4 in Suzuka, he puts it back on pole position, exactly where he wants to be, where he needs to be to maintain that championship lead and pull it away from Alif Hamilton.
Right,
we're just trying to get Naqib Aslan on the line.
Yeah, I've got Naqib now on the line. Naqib, you just want to talk us through that? That was a stunning lap. Could you have found any more time?
I think it was really good. I'm really happy with how it went. I mean, yeah, we had the benefit of no ballast for this round, so that really helped. But nevertheless, I think Kalen, had no ballasts too. So overall, it was a decent lap. Could I have extracted more? I think there's never a perfect lap, so definitely yes, but not much, I think.
Okay. We're not going to ask you strategy. We got a bit of break. We'll ignore that graphic that's showing on screen right now. That is not going to happen. We're not going to have a race going on right now. So you had a Suzuka was the round you're going to drop. Obviously, the pressure's on. Do you think you're going to convert it for the win? I mean, you're not starting near the back. You're not the front. Unfortunately, you're going to be starting near the back.
Yeah, I mean that is true, but we've got on the right foot. Had the maximum points for qualifying, so we've shown that we have the pace, and confirmation to ourselves as well that we do have the pace for this round. So hopefully this time we can convert it into the race win. Yes, it will be difficult coming from the back, but that's where the fun is, overtaking everyone.
Okay, well, congratulations. Anyway, good luck. You're going to have a really busy race coming back, I think, from P17.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Thank you.
Thanks for that little reminder, Alex. I completely forgot that he wasn't actually going to be starting on pole. I was like, we're P17? Definitely going to be an exciting fight from him up the field. We have another fast track tonight. We came from a fast track in Suzuka. Alex, talk us through your tips to tackle Motorland Aragon.
Oh, okay, so like I said, this track is all about these long corners that tighten up on themselves. So you really got to make a car that doesn't have any understeer. You can see that you do need. It's kind of tricky because the first two sectors are all high-speed corners, and you got to carry a lot of speed. You need the downforce for that. But because of that long straight, you see that long straight between turn 15 and 16. That's got to be for a lot of overtaking. So you can't run big downforce, so they run up medium downforce. Yeah, so you need a really good balance for the long corners, and if you can get a balance for those long, tightening corners, so you'll find a lot of lap time.
Tire wear is going to be interesting. I know that in real life, that lateral load, i.e. those long, fast corners, and hard braking together increase tire wear, but here we have a lot of hard braking that's probably going to do the same.
Yeah.
So soft strategy.
Whew. So we got ×3 tire wear, Daniel. So ×3 tire wear on this track. You see, I don't think it's as hard as Suzuka, so I would have thought with ×3 tire wear you could just do hard tires for the full 20 minutes. You might be able to make it. But if the tire wear is higher than expected, then they might have to do a pit stop, and it might be hard soft, or I don't know if anyone's going to try soft. I don't know if soft softs can be done, but I would love it if someone did try.
But do you think that soft is not the best strategy for the fast drivers at the back so that they can clear the field as quickly as possible?
Yeah, so there are two ways of doing it. If you're at the back, like Alif and Nakib, starting right in the middle of the pack, two strategies. If you don't think you're going to make a lot of places in the first couple laps, then it's better to go with a hard tire and just try and outlast everyone and just try and go nice and easy in the beginning, and when everyone pits, then you take them. But if you want to be super aggressive and just say, I'm going to overtake a whole bunch of guys in the first few laps and I'm going to be super aggressive, then it's better to go with the soft tire. Use up those tires, just go for pure pace, come in for that pit stop, and then try and catch everyone else up after you've done that pit stop.
Well, we're going to have race 1 very soon, and as a reminder for all the viewers that might have just joined us, we have a Joker format tonight. So our race 1, which traditionally is 15 minutes long and has a starting position with derived from qualifying, it has now been changed to a 20-minute race, so it's longer, which means your strategy has to change. We also have the starting grid deriving from the championship standings so far reverse, and you can see who's going to be starting on pole there on the graphic on your screen. Jackton Chung will be starting on pole. Alex, this is a driver that maybe isn't so used to starting on pole in the E1 Championship. What do you think is going to be going through his mind?
He's a very experienced driver. He can win from the front. He's the sort of driver that has got the racecraft for it, but I don't think he's got the pace of these cars just yet. Same for Joaquin Garrido. Arwin Taruna, he's one of the guys that, if he gets to the front, I think he could pull away. I've seen him win races from the front, and he's quicker with his car now, so he'll be a factor. Arif Azmi there in Scuderia Stratos in P4. He's also a driver that had a very good race in the weekend ERGP, won a race there. So he's coming to some form. He could also go strong. Who else would be down there? The JMX boys there in, what's that? 7th, 8th, I think. They'll be strong as well. But other than that, you got to look for the guys at the back coming forward. We know Nakib's quick. We know Josh Pone, who qualified P2 and got 4 points. He'll be quick. Alif will be quick as always. He's a championship leader. He'll always be thereabouts, but he's carrying 15 kilos of success ballast at the moment. Not sure he can get to the front as well as Nakib and Miko Nasi, Josh Perwin. Expect the RSG boys also there to come through as well. And of course, let's not forget Inigo Anton. Inigo Anton from Philippines. He's very, very quick here. And if he can have a good first lap, then I think he'll be at the front too.
And it's all about the start. And for the drivers that know that they might not have that pace, it might be interesting to see them take on an alternative strategy, going harder on the tires, maybe being overtaken by the drivers on soft, but trying to play it as long as possible, because the drivers at the back have that hard, arduous task of having to overtake everybody. And not just overtake, but making sure that it's all clean overtakes, because in E1 Championship, we have full damage. If there's any contact at all, you could break a front wing, you could break your suspension, and as we saw last race, it could even lead you to being suspended. So a lot of things that the drivers have to be managing as they go into race 1, which will be starting very soon. So I'm going to throw it over to the commentary box once again with Amo and Des to walk us through race 1 reverse grid.
2 20-minute races coming your way. The first grid is a reverse grid race on championship positions. That means the championship leader starts in P18. Mohammed Alif Hamilton will start in P18. Slight delay because we're changing servers to get onto the race itself. As a racer, Amo, you'll never, I won't forget this again. As a racer, does this waiting you just want to get on with things, do you?
Yeah, basically, kind of like you can have your butterflies in the stomach or shaking the legs. It's just stressful to wait because you just want to get on with the action. You just want to try and get the better of your rivals immediately. But with this waiting time, you can also treat it conversely as like a time where you can just calm yourself and try not to get too bothered by the situation, because you know that it's going to be a long night and you just want to keep yourself calm as possible so that the race will actually come good for you.
You say it's a long night, it's only 20 minutes, it's a sprint, or are we getting towards the period there where the drivers will think, yeah, I've got enough laps here, I've got 12 or 13 laps to pull myself from P17, P18 up to the top?
Yeah, basically just buy your time, because right now, the guys who are further behind, they can also talk with their team about giving the best possible strategies, especially the race engineers that obviously they're going to pay for as well. They're going to try and give them the best possible way of actually getting up to the front. You can ask them to go long in the first stint and then go short in the second, as what Alex mentioned, or they can go easily aggressive at the start. So it's just a matter of how the drivers prefer which strategy or not. But I think by our reckoning, it's going to be the long run.
Interesting that you say that. I'm just looking at the tyre compounds that the race have got on in the practice server at the moment. They're still in practice. As soon as we've got that sorted out, we'll get into the actual race itself. But you've got quite a few guys, the likes of Jack Din Chung starting on soft, Inigo, Anton, Joaquim Garrido, the Filipinos. There's a lot on mediums. The likes of Tadashi is on medium. Francis Angelo Gonzalez on medium. But the big players, the big boys, seem to be on hard compounds.
Yep, and that's kind of expected for them because they're starting further behind. So they might as well just go long in that first stint. No point in trying to get damaged like what we saw last time out between the Stratos boys, where they took each other out and are now further behind the team championship. They just want to play it safe for the first part. Then they can go aggressive in the second phase of the race after the pit stop, where they can just go all out.
Okay, let's just go onto some live pictures. And Jack Din Chung from the Z Challenger team is somebody who will be on pole position, Jack Din. Here he is in qualification. Now, he's got a lot of pressure on him, young Jack Din. He's been able to fly under the radar so far. Now he's up front and centre. Let's just have a look around the lap and get your analysis on how he's racing.
Well, we can't see much for now because he's still in practice, but be based on his own experience, because he's also, in fact, he's going to go off into the final corner because he knows that the session is going to end anyway. But as him being in the touring car experience, like World Touring Car Cup, he's been in several finals, including the grand final in Asia and in his homeland in Hong Kong. He's going to be used to this because touring car racing, there's a lot of changing about, especially with the whole practice sessions, with the whole race sessions where they reverse an entire grid. He's going to be used to this. But he's not going to be used to is driving a high-powered single-seater up at the front. So it's going to be really, really hard for him to keep up with some really hungry guys right behind him.
A bit of pit stop practice there for his teammate, the young Taiwanese Jay Yang, who has not benefited from the reverse grid. Jay is going to be down below the bottom 18 places. So we will keep an eye on Z Challenger. Right, we are nearly set. We are 1 minute away from this race. The Joker race format. Back quickly to Daniel and Alex once again, just to talk us through very quickly.
Yep, once again, for everybody just joining us tonight, we have a little bit of a shake-up in our race format, and we have our championship standings reversing.
Yep. We got to go to the race now.
Start
Not
grid.
much
Oh,
time,
back
sorry.
to you boys.
I just wasn't sure if we had much more time there, because sometimes it counts down very quickly. But yeah, sorry, Danny, just to overrule you. But yeah, it's going to be very challenging indeed. Championship leaders there in 17th and 18th position.
Down to the final 15 seconds. We will keep a close eye on the Z Challenger car. Also, I think it's worth keeping an eye on Arif Azmi from Scuderia Stratos. The boy band leader is in P4, and he can be very, very quick. Garage is still 3 seconds away, and then the red lights will go off, and we will soon be underway. We are on board with the pole sitter, Jack Din Chung. All the pressure is waiting him. The red lights are off, and we are underway. And coming out from the second row, Tarunya's made a good start. Ayman Hazik's made a good start. Arwin Tarunya is the man who is through into pole, and then Arwin goes off as Garrido goes off, and Jack Din Chung holds on with Arif Azmi behind him. But behind that, what happened to Garrido?
Oh wow! And actually, I'm gonna ask what happened to Tarunya, because he had the jump. He had a perfect jump coming to turn 1, had the whole shot, and spun into the inside barrier. So again, another wasted opportunity for him to score some good points here. And it was still, he can have actually taken the lead. So now he's gonna have to get it all up back in the second phase of the race.
Jack Din Chung from the Z Challenger team. He's holding on to P2 at the moment. Arif Azmi has got past him. Jack Din under pressure from Ayman Hazik from the ERacing GP Qualification group. But Jack Din, so far so good, has been able to hold off a bevy of challengers as he's coming to the midway point of this first lap.
Yep, and we thought that he was going to be struggling a bit at the start because he did have a really poor start. In fact, the wheel spin at the start there cost him dearly, and we saw that's why Taruna got to the inside and took the lead. But luckily he's held on to that. Now he has to hold off for the rest of the race. Behind him, look at that, a gaggle of cars all the way up to 20th place on that long back straight.
That long back straight is absolutely terrifying, but Arif Azmi has made light work of it, and Arif will be delighted to have Jack Ding Chung as the man in between him and the rest of those cars. Ayman Hazik is in P3, Choi Ayman in 4, Kalen Chin 5. Mohammed Nabil has made a good start. He is up to 6. Sorry, let's go back to Arif Azmi, the race leader. Haven't given him much TLC at the moment. He got off to a storming start from P4.
Yeah, he actually made the most of Tarunia messing up that start and then jumped on to capitalize on Jackton, being a bit hesitant after Tarunia spun and took the lead. Now can he hold on to the lead? That's another matter entirely, but it's looking so good so far for Arif, who has not had a rub of the green this season so far. Best position, 8th, and that's pretty much as good as it got for him. He just needs to keep it together here, and he will probably score a very valuable win. A first win of the season. Once again, let's have a look at Jack Ding Chung. He is holding on to P2. He's racing pretty well, and he's got the DRS as well, which is good for him as he takes this very quick left-hander. It looks like he's no time set on lap number 1, which is interesting. But these three, Amo, are getting away from everybody else. Interestingly, both Arif and Jack Ding on the soft compounds. Yeah, in fact, with the soft compounds that he's on right now, he might actually have to pit because the 20 minutes here, despite it being short into the duration, is actually quite long in the tyres, and especially with the tyre we're running, he is probably going to have to pit soon, so we have to keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, we're watching his teammate on the cusp outside of the points here in 16th, and look at that, the guys in front are fighting. In fact, the two RSG cars, Anotaviani, are fighting each other. He just needs to get up to them right now when they're battling to actually score any good points. In fact, Jay has scored only 6 points all season with a best finish of 12 at the opening round, so he just needs to get it going now to score more points here. The good news for him, and he'll love this, he is ahead of our Muhammad Alif Hamilton. Jay Yang currently in P16. Alif is in that group, those two orange cars chasing. Two very, very fast orange cars to have in your rear view mirror. He's got Fadli Rakhmat. Who's that? Yeah, Fadli went wide, and Alif goes past Jay Yang. So Jay Yang is able to hold on, but Alif makes progress up into P16. So 2 places have been made. How about the championship? Well, the championship leader is Alif Hamilton. How about Naqib Aslan, who was fastest in qualification? Naqib has got himself now up into P7. He looked fast in qualifying. Indeed, and he looks fast in the race as well. Right now, he's just trying to work his way on the back of Ayman Aziz. Ayman then knows full well that he will have to battle against a guy who's known to a bit bargy on his overtaking. Now he's on the back straight here. Both have DRS, interestingly, because Ayman actually got DRS from Naki's brother Nabil. But it won't be enough here. He has to defend coming into the hairpin. Naki goes onto the inside, and can he take the place away? Just about, he just about does, and Ayman there, a bit pragmatic. Didn't want to defend too much because he knows that the race is still on here for the next 15 minutes, so he could get back at Naki later on. We are on board, and Inigo Anton is down in... So that's Presley Martono there, looking for Presley Martono. I just want to have a little look at Inigo Anton, fast Filipinos. I'm going around different groups at the moment, simply because it's a 20-minute race. And what's happening at the front at the moment isn't absolutely critical. It's what's happening in the mid-range to see who can pick up points. Yep, and the guy who's picking up the most points here after a disastrous round, to be honest, last time out in Suzuka, is Naqib Aslan, of course, because Naqib here, yes, he did score a point for finishing 5th in the qualifying session, and then only 14th in the second race in Suzuka after being wiped out by his own teammate. He will probably just need to score as many points as possible, because knowing right now, Alif is only going to score, in fact, 0 at the moment. He's in 16th, so he's going to make out good points here and a lot of ground at this very race in Aragon. We are on board with Inigo Anton. Ayman Hazik is beyond him, so Inigo, the best of the Filipinos. Presley Martono from Indonesia is the man in the orange livery who's been putting pressure on. Naqib and Nabil are really making good progress up at the front. I just need quickly to move to them, because Kalen Chin in P4 is certainly swamped
by Scuderia Green. And Kalen is taken by Troy Iman, Nabil and Nakib on one corner. What a moment.
Wow, he just got taken over by Yoda here. 3 Yodas because he's a big Star Wars fan, so he will not be happy to hear that. But it's just that he just got nicked there at the final corner. But sorry, final 2 corners by 3 cars, all basically the same team. He just has to regather his thoughts here and try not to get that into his head and try to gain back what was actually 4th position on the road. So disaster for him at that very moment, but race is still not over yet for him.
Okay, let's have a look at Joaquim Garrido. Garrido was the man who was on the front row of the grid. We'll again break away from that for a moment. Joaquim Garrido is currently in P10, having been on the front row of the grid. So the GT Radial Eurasia Motorsport man hasn't been able to hold on to that lead that he had. Arif Azmi and Jack Ding Chung are pulling away. Troy Iman and Nakib and Kalen and Nabil are in a race, but in the points at the moment is Joaquim Garrido from the Philippines. But he's got Jason Tay and Tadashi right behind him.
Yeah, he's not in a very good group, isn't he? Because he's got so many fast drivers right behind him. Right now, at least, Garrido, he's actually on course to score more points in the championship, because at the moment, at least, his best ever finish in the championship this season is a 10th at Watkins Glen Race 2. So he's matching that right now, but he's going to have to do so hard to actually defend. In fact, goes around the outside. There is Jason Tate. Tate tries to go to the outside. He defends on the inside, holds the line, deliberately hangs him out to dry, and still holds on to 10. Jason will probably not like that one bit. He just really got bogged there. Now the rest of the field, they're all the way up to 16th. That includes his teammate Alif, right behind him. So Garrido then, a cock in the bottle at this very moment in time.
I don't think he's got the RS though. I think he was more than a second behind Presley Martono. So he is just there for the taking by Jason Tay, Ayman Hakim, and by Josh Perwin, who has got himself up into P13.
Oh, no.
Who is that? That is
Ottaviani.
Ottaviani has made his way through.
No, he ran into the back of Garrido because Garrido got touched there by Jason Tay. Tay then, almost the big beneficiary a lot, only to lose out a few positions then. So Ayman Hakim actually has gotten in front of this gaggle of cars, is absolutely kicking off at the lower end of the point scoring positions.
Well, we said Ottaviani would have an impact on this race. I didn't quite think it'd be in that kind of way that he's taken people out. So Ottaviani, he didn't suffer too much damage by the looks of things there, because he's still lapping pretty quickly at 1:30.7, his fastest lap.
Yeah, but he's about more than 2 seconds off the fastest lap time that is being set right now by the leaders of the race. So, sorry, almost 2 seconds off. It's not looking good so far because he's been held up in traffic that much at this point as Nakib goes lead.
Nakib Aslan goes past Jack Ding Chung into P2. Sorry to cut you off. Troy Iman and Mohammed Nabil are there. It is a lime green swarm around Jack Ding as somebody goes off. Kalen Chin has gone off at the back. Kalen has gone out of the game down to P10, P11. Nightmare for him. So Arif Azmi leads from Nakib. Jackin is still able to hold on somehow. Jackin, is he able to hold off the challenge from behind of Troy Iman and Mohammed Nabil? Nabil has a look on the inside. Iman has a look on the inside. That green swarm on the Z Challenger. And Jay, look at him, bottom left of your screen. Does he look worried? No, not really.
He's probably used to this because, of course, we did mention earlier, he has been in finals and championship winning positions in touring cars, WTCR cars, but probably has not been used to driving side by side, wheel to wheel with cars of higher power, in this case single seater cars. He's going to get nicked here for 2 positions as Nabil and Troy have taken it away from him. Now he's going to have to fend off from 2 more cars as I'm asking, did he sustain a puncture? Looks like it. Yes, he did. So just like Kalen, while he went to the pits, he suffered a puncture. So the soft tires here cannot go the distance.
Jack Ding Chung drops from P2 to P7 in the blink of an eye. He was on pole position. He will not finish, we are pretty sure, in the top 3 here, because he's going to have to pit fairly soon. Let's go on to our race leader. We've barely given Arif Azmi much TLC, but the soft compound is the first to go into the pits, and he will lose the lead to Nakib Aslam, who started on a hard compound. So Nakib, on the bottom right of your screen, is the new race leader, as Arif Azmi, a brave start, but that soft compounder, it's a gamble that didn't work.
Oh, indeed. And the fact that the hard tires are still a gamble, because we saw from practice sessions, well, firstly, I saw from practice sessions from certain teams, that when they went on hard tires, they couldn't go the race distance either. In fact, they got punctures on the last lap. So it might not still be over yet. People on hard tires who on Delta is much slower anyway. So if they come in for the pit stops, they're going to lose to the guys who have pitted, on this case, hard tires. So Arif Asmi has gone... Arif Asmi's gone on double soft, so he's going to go soft all the way to the end. That's going to be interesting.
That is going to be interesting. Naqib Aslan starting on hard. He's your new race leader. 3.8 seconds, 4 seconds clear of his brother. And his brother is playing spoiler, I think, to Troy Ayman and Ayman Haziq. It's all Malaysia. Malaysia 1, 2, 3, 4. Inigo Anton for Philippines 5. Presley Martono 6. But this is a really, really good start for Naqib Aslan. Hard compound for him. Let's look onto our championship leader, Mohammed Alif Hamilton. He's got himself up into the top 10, Armo. Top 10.
And he's playing the long game as well, because he's also running on the hard tires.
Yeah.
So all the drivers up to Jay Young in 16th are running on hard tires. So they're trying to stretch these tires all the way to the end. The guys on the soft at this moment, because Arif Asmi is the leading runner on the soft tires here, will have to make out the time on the track, unless these guys are also going to pit as well. So it's looking like a fruitless task, as Alif goes to the inside. Mika nearly gets it at turn 1, and he's going to drop back to P10. So Mika then had a wake-up call from Alif.
Yeah, Mika Hakimi is the man who is just in front of him. And there is Mika's view of Alif Hamilton, who had one little nibble at trying to take P9. He is playing the long game, but the long game only has 7 more minutes to go. It is that 20 minutes just disappears in the blink of an eye.
Indeed, and we say long game because there is a pit stop in between. As we saw just now, the soft tire guys just cannot stretch these tires all the way to the end. So they will know full well that coming into the second race, they're going to have to do the same thing. Except this time, they're going to try to switch up the strategy. They're going to go either hard or soft, or hard. So they already learned the lesson here. They cannot go softs all the way.
So you're saying there must be a pit stop, even on hard compounds?
Presumably, there might be a pit stop needed for the hard tires, because I've seen from some of the practice races, they had punctures. So it is a possibility that if they drive this hard, they're going to have to go for a pit stop. So it will be a waiting game here to see whether or not they would.
Here is our race leader, Naqib Aslan. He's at the moment in P1, 3.6 seconds clear. It says, yeah, he is P1. Joaquim Garrido is having troubles at the moment. Nabil, it's brotherly 1-2 at the moment. Troy Ayman 3, Stratos are loving. Ayman Haziq P4, Inigo Anton is in P5. How about our friend Ottaviani? What's happened to Ottaviani's?
P11.
Ottaviani's doing okay, P11. Always interested to see how he's sideways there. He's giving it some welly.
It was almost like Gary McCoy style there, because, you know, Gary McCoy used to light up the tires in MotoGP in the 500cc's. That looked almost exactly like it, but he would not want that, especially the fact that the tires wear out so fast. So he'll have to reduce that as the race goes on. In fact, the final 6 minutes here will be crucial whether or not he can actually stretch this, or he might have to come in. If he comes in now, it's actually going to be detrimental.
Bit of a battle here as Ayman Hakim is on the tail of Inigo Anton. Tadashi trying to pick up into P5. Presley Martono also in that little battle, as is Jason Tay, the Singaporean. We don't mention him much when we talk about Flash, as Inigo Anton makes a mistake and Ayman Hakim Tadashi moves into the top 5, Amo.
Wow, wait. Good recovery there. And the team, as we heard from the pre-show, are on form right now. Ayman's going to score points again, but whether or not he's going to get onto the rostrum with other fast drivers in front is going to be another match. As Jason Tay goes on to the... No, sorry, that's Presley Martono. Martono goes onto the inside of Inigo Anton there. Does he make the move stick? Don't know if he does, as another car is into the base. No, he didn't. So Anton held on to it, only for now as they come into the first corner, as Martono onto the inside, Anton on the outside, and Martono makes the move stick cleanly this time.
Wow, Anton and Alif Hamilton is in that little battle as well. Alif joins in, so Alif has made his way up into P8. 4.5 minutes to go. Naqib is still out on the circuit, gotta tell you. Alif has got himself up into P7. Inigo Anton trails in his wake. The fast Filipino is fading. Fast Filipino becomes a fading Filipino.
Yeah, and unfortunately he's also on the hard tires, so he has to stick with these tires towards the end because 4 minutes left to go. No point putting on the pit stop because these other guys may be actually going to the end. So the hard tires for these guys are holding on as we're looking at Alif, but behind them is Anton, and behind him is Jason Tay. Tay, of course, having been already in a collision with one of the GT Radio Eurasia cars, hitting Garrido into a spin that also collected Ottaviani. So Tay will have to avoid hitting a second GT Eurasia car if he wants to actually get up another position.
This is our race leader. The big question, as 5 Malaysian flags adorn the top of the leaderboard. The big question is, will the hard compounds stay the full 20-minute distance? We all doubted it, but the drivers, he's been driving pretty conservatively, Nakib.
Yeah. In fact, despite starting almost towards the back, he was in 17th. He made the jump better than Alif coming up to the front here, so he actually loves these reverse grid races even if he's further back. So doing a John Watson back in the 80s, I would say, because he just loves to overtake people. That's his specialty. But also his specialty is his race management. Yes, we didn't see that last time out, what happened in Suzuka, but this one he's really making amends for it, and he's coming back with a vengeance.
Well, there is Naki Baslan, the race leader. Lovely helicopter shot shows the time that he has got ahead of everybody. And driving pretty well.
Driving pretty well indeed. In fact, 2.5 minutes to go. Looks likely here that he is not going to come in for a pit stop. So he's played the game absolutely well. Now he just has to see off the job and get the full 30 points. Because remember, he did qualify in pole position in the qualifying session that did not determine the grid race. But nonetheless, he's going to score a full complement here to get his championship aspirations back on track.
Little bit further down, P7, championship leader, Alif. How's he doing? Well, he's made his way up into P7. Only 2 minutes remaining. So this lap +1 for Alif to try to get past Presley Martono. Ayman Hakim is probably too far ahead of him, but Alif would love to get up into P6, which is worth 10 points.
Oh, well, who's that?
That's a back marker there, I'm assuming.
That looked like one of the... But that might be Alex de Jong, I think, because he suffered a puncture just now, so he's just trundling back into the pits. So we don't have to worry about him there. That might have caused a bit of a scare for whoever was trying to lap him.
As he goes over the start-finish line, Nakib Aslan, though, is on his final lap. Nakib, wow, what a performance. He started in P17, Nakib. Unbelievable that he's just been able to make his way through everybody. And this... is he on his final lap? No, there's probably 2 more laps to go. This +1 to go. But a 6-second lead over his brother and his enforcer, Mohammed Nabil. Talk about team orders working well for James Russell right here.
Well, I wouldn't say team orders are going to be in play. In fact, it weren't in play, actually, because they're just so far ahead of each other. But it's going to be a good return to the point scoring positions for both cars, number 1 and 2, but it will be the number 2 cars in it with a different driver. Stratos had an absolute nightmare last time out. Now they're coming here with a vengeance, and probably this will kickstart their championship title challenge.
Certainly does. Things can change very, very quickly. This is Mohammed Nabil in P2. It's Troy Ayman, the first of the boy banders, in P3. Ayman Hazik in P4. That glorious overhead shot down the long straight. Ayman Hakim is under pressure in P5. Hamilton is trying to make his way through close. You've got Ayman Hakim and Ayman Hazik and Alif Hamilton, all with a chance of a P4 place here.
Yeah, but it's Ayman actually overtaking Ayman Hazik there. Sorry, 2 Aymans. So Hakim overtakes Hazik for 4th place. Now he can actually try to set aside for 3rd, but that might be a tall order because we're on the last lap now. He's over 1.6 seconds behind, so don't think he can make up that much ground in just the last lap. But good recovery as well for Ayman to go up to 4th.
Apologies as we move back onto Naki Baslan. That mountain keeps getting in the way. It is a genuine mountain in Aragon up at the far end of the course. But what that will do for Naki Baslan is tell him that he is half a lap away from victory.
Yep, indeed. In fact, he's coming through the final sector now. In fact, he's still in sector 2. By the time he comes up through the complex of 12, 13, 14, and 15, he's going to be on the final back straight and into the final sector for the last time. And what a way to bounce back after that disastrous round in Suzuka.
Well, there is our race leader in P4. Alif Hamilton has got up to P5. Would you believe Nakib leads 7 seconds clear of Nabil, and it is that long straight to victory now for Nakib Aslan as he takes the hairpin at the bottom. It's a comprehensive victory, a remarkable victory. The extra 5 minutes making all the difference. Does this change the full momentum? Victory goes to Nakib Aslan from Malaysia, and a championship is re-energized for Stratos Motorsports.
Wow, we talk about re-energizing. A second place for the debutant for the team. Nabil, there he is, comes across the line. So it's a Stratos 1-2, a Aslan 1-2, and a very good 1-2 to return back to championship contention. Troy Ayman third, and fourth is Ayman Hakim, who actually drives around the outside there. And fifth, crucially for the championship, is Muhammad Alif. So Alif then manages to recover some points here in the grand scheme of things.
But the victor is Nakib Aslan, and he will be talking to Alex Young.
Wow, okay, so great result there. So
let's jump straight to an interview with our race winner, Nakib Aslan. Nakib, there we have you up on screen. I would say that was a hard-fought win, but you made it look so easy. Where on earth did that pace come from?
I think the important part was getting through that massacre, really, into lap 1. It was such a mess. Thankfully, we came through cleanly. But yeah, we showed our pace in qualifying, and it showed again in the race. You know, we had really solid pace coming into it. So yeah, really glad and really happy that it turned out well this time.
I mean, I say you guys were fast, but you were tenths and tenths ahead of everybody else in terms of lap time. What is that differentiating factor? Is it down to the setup of the car? Because you were on the same strategy as most of the people on the grid on the hard tire.
I mean, we're all the green cars are running the same car, so I don't know, maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Humble brag, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
yeah.
well, congratulations. It's good to see the title fight come back alive. I'm sure you've been re-energized, as Des and Amo were saying. We look forward to you closing that gap as we go into the second half of this season. See you in race 2.
Look forward to it as
So
well.
confirmation there of the results. Nakib Aslan ahead of Nabil Aslan. Keep it in the family, boys, and keep it in the same team for Stratos 1, 2, 3. Tadashi 4. Alif Hamilton, a very good 5. Ayman Hazik 6. Jason Tay contributing for Team Flash as well. And then Azmi finishing a very, very respectable P8. Inigo Anton and Josh Perwin completing the top 10. So, Amo, I wasn't expecting it to be that comprehensive a victory for Nakib. Your quick thoughts?
Well, we kind of ruled them up for a second because after what happened last time out, but for him to come back here strong and put the championship back in contention for him, it will be very nice to see how he could do in race 2.
Okay, race 2 is coming up very soon. To help take us there, send you back to the studio and Daniel and Alex.
Thank you, Des. Well, we were saying earlier in the show, was that the right decision from James Russell at Stratos Motorsports? And I think that was the best possible answer he could have had. Now we're going to have more analysis for how race 1 went, and we're going to introduce the format for race 2 coming your way very soon. But first, a short commercial break.
JMX Phantom is easily one of the best teams, most professional teams in Indonesia.
They are here for the first time, but they've come in with performances.
He comes down the inside. They're still side by side.
I know they're going to come in at a high level. They have a very professional outlook. They got big plans.
My name is Presley Martono.
Hi guys, my name is Fadli Rahmat.
Hi, I'm Cleo. I'm the team manager of JMX Phantom. JMX Phantom is a newly founded esports team, currently based in Jakarta in Indonesia. Presley is the CEO of this company at the moment.
JMX Phantom has been running for now 2-3 months, but it actually started off last year when the pandemic just hit, and I started off doing it just as for fun with my friends, similar to how a real race team would do it. That's how this whole idea started, is trying to merge the worlds between sim racing and real racing. We've expanded to now 4 drivers, including myself. We have Fadli Rahmat, we have Dafa Ardiansa, and we also have Afila Bahar.
Fadli Rahmat is very much a sim driver, and Presley Martono, which is a very highly rated real-life driver.
Me and Fadli had prior experience on RaceRoom before, so I felt like it was the best combination of me and Fadli to get the right balance for the team.
Presley Martono can be quick. One of the best drivers to come out of Indonesia.
He's definitely a strong driver in go-karts and in cars, which means that he is also going to be a strong driver in e-racing.
I started racing at the age of 8 in go-karts. I started joining national championships in go-karts, then started winning, started joining Asian championships, and then I went to Europe also to do a few championships in karting and try and get into Formula racing.
He didn't make it all the way to Formula 2, Formula 1, but he had the talent to go all the way, I feel.
We showed how difficult it was to transition from real racing onto the simulator.
10 years over of real racing background, but only 1 year of sim racing. I think I could adapt quite well to sim racing.
And of course, Fadli Rahmat. Rahmat is very, very good.
Fadli is a pure e-racing driver.
Very much a top Indonesian driver, and he'll be running at the front for sure.
He has a lot of experience in extracting the best performance out of these cars.
He was one of the first drivers I had in mind when starting off this JMX Phantom.
Presley raced previously with Fadli before. They have a good dynamic and then they complement each other very well.
I've only started discovering sim racing in 2018 to early 2019. My first proper sim racing event will be in late 2019. That's the start of my journey in sim racing.
I would really love to be a fly on the wall to see what the chemistry is like between Rahmat and Martono. Both their drivers really could get to a position where they're winning races in E1.
Can be very competitive in this championship.
We're all looking forward to that challenge to see how we can cope with the best teams in Asia.
I'm not sure we'll have enough time this E1 season to see them doing it, but they should look for that continued improvement so that by the time we do the next E1 championship, they'll be right there winning races, winning championships.
Phantom JMX are really a team to look out for.
So Vietnam had big ambitions.
These drivers come in and bring virtual racing to the people of Vietnam. I think that's awesome.
Good to see Le Hong Binh Long in his first E1 championship race.
Hello, I am Long.
I am Huy. Hey, it's Heng Nguyen. I am the manager. Vietnam SUM E1 team is being established in June 2020. We are focusing both digital motorsport and real motorsport. Our vision is to establish the motorsport culture and sportsmanship spirit in Vietnam. Our club has been organized some qualification game online, and Long and Huy are two best drivers that have been participated and they get the best result. That's why I picked them represent the country on the E1 Championship Season 1.
I'm very proud to be presenting Vietnam E1 team in E1 Championship Season 1.
Long's actually got quite a bit of talent. I've watched him drive before and I've spoken to him.
I started sim racing at the age of 11 when I first saw some gameplay of Africa and F1 2011 on YouTube. It triggered me so much. Motorsport in general and sim racing in particular has become one of my hobbies and also my passions in there.
I started interested in motorsport when I 16 years old. Becoming a professional racer was my biggest with E1 Championship Season 1 in my first race were an important turning point for me and Vietnam E1 team to develop our racing.
Our expectation and the goal for the team is to bring the Vietnam flag to the international championship.
I hope to be able to bring some win and podium.
I don't have any achievement in sim racing yet, but I will be soon.
While the level might be a bit too strong for them at the moment, I can see Vietnam improving.
Welcome back to the E1 Championship, where we've just wrapped up race 1 at Motorland Aragon in Spain. We, of course, have just had the Joker format as well, which has spiced things up a bit with the starting grid, and we're going to see the effects of that in race 2. But just now, what you saw on screen, we saw the Vietnamese team, and we love that because in E1, we're promoting esports, and e-racing is accessible to everybody all across the world, and that Vietnamese team are really enjoying their time at the E1 Championship. Alex, how would you rate their performance so far at E1?
Well, it's been a big learning curve for them. You know, big learning curve. I had a lot to learn. Their drivers are obviously quite inexperienced with this car and the game, so they're getting better all the time. They have scored points, which is pretty good when you consider how competitive this field is.
Well, we're going to see where they will start in race 2 very shortly. To get there, let's take a look at the highlights first, Alex.
Okay, so race 1, top 20 reversed in the championship order. And see that, oh, the black car there, Awon Tarun has spun off. I think he must have had contact with Jaktin there. Jaktin in the red car was leading earlier on, but Arif Azmi there in the green and white car, Scuderia Stratos, then took the lead. And then you've got a swarm of Stratos cars just swarming through as well. Top four, actually all four of their cars were near to the front. Jungtung was on the soft tire and he started struggling with tire wear. Then this thing happened here. Jason Tay tapped, just got down the inside. Mohammed Alif also making some positions up. Had a few slow first few laps, but soon got well into the top 10, especially with all the success battles. Great job by Alif. But this is the man of the hour. Nakib coming from 17 from the grid to win by 7 seconds.
And there we can see Nakib in P1 with his 25 points in the bag. That's definitely going to help him with his points deficit against Muhammad Alif. Of course, Nakib is our reigning champion, but it's an all-green affair. The mean green racing machines of Stratos Motorsports and Scuderia Stratos in the top 3. James Russell will be extremely happy with that. And once again, we have the RSG Blue of Ayman Hakim in P4. They're going to be very happy with that points collection as well. But interesting there, Alif Hamilton didn't quite carve up his way through the field as quickly as Nakib Aslan.
Yeah, I know he's carrying some success ballast, but we're not seeing Alif quite in his sparkling form. You know what I mean? You're right. I thought he'd be well into the top 5 by the end. He just about got there. I think he struggled in the first couple of laps. We must find incidents off track because I think the first 2 laps he hadn't made any positions. So obviously got in the middle of quite the melee at the beginning. But as Alif always does, he still gets up to a reasonable position. P5 was okay.
That's right. Now let's take a look at who's in P2. That's of course Nabil Aslan, the younger brother of Nakib Aslan, who's in P1. So it's an all brotherly affair at the very front. It's an all Stratos affair. Nabil, welcome and congratulations. Talk us through your race 1 there.
Thanks. I think the main reason I got second was because of the teamwork. Don't think I could have done without them. But yeah, I think my first lap was pretty crucial because starting at ninth position. So yeah, I tried to make all the positions as quickly as possible and cleanly.
So I'll ask you about race 2 in a second, but tell us what it was like getting that call from James Russell when you were told that you were being promoted to Stratos Motorsports. What were you feeling at the time?
Pretty shocked and happy really, because I've been wanting to join this team because there's my brother Nakib, and yeah, I tried to join all of the ERGP leaderboard so I could prove myself that I could join this team. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the outcome.
And what's it like racing against your brother in an equal car?
He's pretty quick actually, so
yeah, he is.
So yeah, I'll try to keep him in place, and yeah, maybe beat him one of the races.
Well, we'll see if you can achieve that in race 2. I know that you guys have to share the strategy, so that won't really help you. But best of luck, and we look forward to seeing you in the next race.
Thank you.
All right, and that was Nabil Aslan in P2. A good first outing for Stratos Motorsports there. He'll be very, very happy with that. Let's talk to a driver that is joining the E1 Championship for the very first time, and that's Alessandro Ottaviani, hailing all the way from Italy. I'm just going to have to pull up.
Yeah, so he's in the RSG chat actually, so he's quite friendly with the RSG guys. So Alessandro, that was quite an eventful race. You had to start right at the very back, obviously, because you're new to the championship. But still, you made yourself quite a few positions. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, it was quite a funny race. Tough for sure, because I start from the back, from the P28. I had a bad start, but I tried to manage the tire and try to do some overtake, and yeah, it was really fun, especially in the last laps, because yeah, try to manage the tire it's so hard, especially today, and yeah, the final position it was really good. Yeah. P12 is a nice result for me.
Actually, that's quite true, because it's a top 15 reverse for race 2. So that means you are P3.
3, 4?
Yeah, P3.
Yeah.
No, P4.
P4, yeah.
So, nice news. I try to attack for sure in the first lap, and yeah, we will see.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing you attack in race 2 from the second row of the grid. Best of luck, Alessandro.
Thank you.
Righty, well, it seems like we have the opposite effect of a commentator's curse, or at least I do. Every time I bring a team down or we bring a team down, they seem to bounce back and be on the top step of the podium.
Yeah, just to spite you. Good job, mate, because it's you've seen some remarkable performances today, yeah?
For sure. So we've got a lot of different insights. We're going to make a few more bets as to what the drivers will be doing strategy-wise for Race 2. And as Alex, as you were saying just now, Race 2 will see the top 15 finishing positions from Race 1 flip around, which means Alessandro is starting P4, but it means Jaktin Chung is back in P1 on pole position.
Yeah.
So we've got all that action coming your way very, very soon. Don't go anywhere. We've just got a short commercial break first.
Black Arts Racing is the most successful junior Formula race team in Asia. I'm Bill O'Brien and I'm the team principal for the race teams.
Black Arts is a big name. They got a big reputation.
They're extremely established. They've done extremely well in everything that they've raced.
Black Arts Racing over the years has really been the development of young drivers. We see this as sort of the next frontier. That's the key reason we're involved with the E1 Championship.
My name's Alistair Young, I'm 18 years old and I'm racing for Black Arts Racing.
I'm Josh Perwin from Australia and I'm going to be competing in E1 Season 1 with Black Arts Racing.
He's got a 2-second lead.
Alistair Young is currently in P3.
Season 0 was great. I was with Safe Fast Racing, driving alongside Miko Nasi. It was a bit of a struggle.
Miko Nasi is still in the lead, but Alistair is closing in on him now.
So I wasn't able to do the full Season 0, but I did manage to get a call up in Silverstone. I first met Alistair in Singapore in 2019 in person.
They had a esports competition and Josh won, so he was very impressive.
And I've been working with him in Axel Sports as well.
We did the virtual Le Mans on R Factor. Then from there I've been working with him for almost a year now.
Black Arts picked Alistair because Alistair's actually a real-world driver.
I'm with Black Arts Racing because I was with them in Formula 3 as a mechanic. They wanted to make their way into esports and they saw me as a very good opportunity.
But they needed a strong number one who's very well known in the sim world, and Josh Perwin fits that perfectly.
Josh is well known in e-racing circles.
Josh is very talented.
In just a few races, he's already up at the front.
Josh Perwin is a fabulous racer.
As we saw in the most recent races at Watkins Glen, he's starting to really pick up the capabilities of this F1 car.
I played it safe, just got the second place and brought home some points for the team.
The pairing of Josh Perwin and Alistair Young at Black Arts Racing is also a complementary one.
Alistair is a real-world driver and he has been a mechanic for Black Arts as well over in Dubai during the F3 agency. So he has a lot of mechanical knowledge that he is able to bring into the team and he's very, very good with setup.
Mixing drivers that come from a pure e-racing background with a pure motorsports background, and together I think that's a winning combination.
Our focus in the E1 Championship, obviously to win races, but also to put young drivers on a path to serious career development.
And Josh Perwin is back in front.
Josh Perwin, the race leader for about the 5th time, to be fair.
My goal for E1 Season 1 is to win the championship with Black Arts Racing.
I want to compete for the top 3 in the championship.
Well, let's just say I hate losing more than you love winning.
Well, I1 Racing, they have improved from last year. It's just that the competition is so much stronger, the field is so much stronger, so we don't really see that much of them at the moment.
I'm Lance.
My name is Ben Seek. Hi, I'm Jake Ten. I'm the I1 Racing team manager for the season.
Ben Seek currently in 3rd.
They've been improving steadily round by round.
And it started off as a bit of recreational fun thing.
When we got locked down with COVID, we were sort of looking for new things to do.
Lance ordered in a bunch of full motion sims.
I decided to just go and get like 4 units. At least I could like get my friends involved and we can like have a race among ourselves.
And then we heard about the E1 Championship.
Lance showed an interest in it.
So we just thought, why not? Let's give it a go.
We thought it'd be a fun thing at first to take part in, and we quickly realized we'd have to step up our game.
He's in P19.
The greatest moments in Season 0 for me were scoring my first points.
Managed to get top 10 for the first time, which is a huge achievement.
They're the fun guys. They're the guys in the Mario hats and having a good time.
Well, the idea for the Mario hat started at a Halloween party. We dressed up.
We knew we weren't going to be competing at the top of the table, but at least they could be looking at us for other reasons.
They need to do more racing, not just E1, you know, and they need to raise the level of the drivers in the team.
We're trying to be competitive.
I would love to get in the top 10.
I'm looking to improve my skills even more.
Watch out for those I1 racing cars in the nice blue. They're going to be incredibly fast. We'll be coming straight to the front.
Hello and welcome back to Season 1 of the E1 Championship. To the I1 Racing boys, if you guys are watching this, please bring back the Mario outfits. I love them. So, we have Race 2 coming your way very shortly. The drivers are underway in practice just before they get to the grid for Race 2. We can see them teleporting. And for that, I will hand it over to the gents in the commentary box.
Indeed, thank you very much, Daniel and Alex, and good stuff for I1. We didn't actually get to see them much in the race itself because it was so competitive at the top. Race 1 was reverse grid, and it caused us one or two problems, caused Alif Hamilton one or two problems getting up to the front, but he made his way to the front. Race 2, reverse grid as well, similar problems.
Yeah, in fact, in this case of Deja Vu, Jack Ting's also back up in front as well. So it's interesting to see how he could actually do it the second time round if he could hold on to the lead of the race.
He had a puncture. He was involved in a couple of hairy moments, but for the best part of 6 laps, he was able to hold his own against that Stratos swarming that eventually took him down to P15,
yeah.
Of course.
So yeah, he'll be hoping not to see the same thing for the second race, as now Jack Ting on the front row of the grid, and beside him is Kalen Chin. So it'll be interesting around up to turn 1.
Okay, we are on board with Jack Ting Chung as the red lights go off. We are underway. Jack Ting looking backwards is taken by Kalen Chin and Mika Hakimi. So Kalen Chin is the race leader, and he is flown away. Jack Ting Chung is still holding on to P3, but he's got Josh Berwin on his tail. My word, that is mighty, mighty close up at the front. Jack Ting having to hold off an aggressive challenge.
Right, indeed, and the fact that, again, he has yet another poor start off the line, so he's still not used to the launch control of a FRX 70 car compared to a WTCR car, and he is still under attack here from the guys behind, so still not over yet. Jack Ting will have to actually avoid getting into more collisions that will actually send him to the back of the grid. So 4th place right now for him, but there's still plenty of work for him to do to keep on to that.
Z Challenger Racing learning what it's like to race at this level. Contact from Fadli Rakhmat behind him. That allows Inigo Antan to go through into P5. We must move away though, because Kalen Chin up at the front has got himself a good 1.7 second lead as he comes down this long straight. No DRS at the moment, so this is just terrific from Kalen. Mika Hakimi quick, and Josh Perwin from Blackheart Racing P3.
So Australia, Malaysia, Australia up in front, and Kalen Chin there had the start that he wanted. A very, very good launch off the line to get the whole shot. Now he has an almost 1.1 second lead, 2 second leads up in the front. So this is what he wants here. He wants to get an early breakaway from the rest of the field.
So his slight problem is it's 20 seconds now then. I've got to tell you, Muhammad Alif Hamilton is down in P20 because he had a spin. Alif went off. He's picked up another place. He's gone past Joaquim Garrido. He's got I1's 2 racers, Lancelot and Ben Sieg, in front of him. But Alif, for once, Amo Hazik, is looking rattled.
Yeah, he's looking not less impervious as he was in previous races. He goes up to the inside of Lance Lau and takes away 18th place. But that is not what the start wanted. In fact, look at that. Ben Sieg actually has the Luigi helmet hat on for this time. So he's trying to channel his image Luigi from Mario Kart. But that's not enough as Alif now goes up to P17. But this is not the start he wanted. And Naki Baslan put out in front, looking very good here to gain points on him.
Who else is worth looking at? How did our Italian friend get on?
Ottaviani actually got hit.
Ottaviani is out.
Yes, he's out of the race. He did get hit just now. I saw on the timing screen that he's stationary, so he might have been hit by somebody and just got terminal damage, so that's a shame for him. on his debut in the championship.
Back up at the front, Kalen Chin has extended his lead over Mika Hakimi. Josh Perwin has got into P3, but Kalen, he will be cursing the fact that this is a 20-minute race, because if this is a 15-minute sprint, I'd say he's red-hot favourite because we're 5 minutes in. However, there's another 15 still to go.
Indeed, and the fact that he has the hard tyres on, actually, so he'll be trying to conserve those, and he's got a good opportunity to increase the lead as well. In fact, 2.6 seconds now is the advantage between himself and Mika Hakimi. So Mika then will try to get back at him as soon as possible. Will try to actually chip away that gap as soon as possible.
Let's talk about the winner of race 1 and the fastest in qualification, Nakib Aslan. And there is Nakib in P6. He's got Inigo Anton right in front of him. Nakib tries to look on the inside of Inigo Anton. So Nakib is looking for a perfect weekend. A lot of work to do, of course. Inigo and Jakdin Chung are the two in front of him. Let's look behind from Jakdin. This is the view of Jakdin Chung, and it's a scary view because Nakib is there, literally pushing his way through. Nakib and Inigo right on the tail. Inigo goes past Jakdin Chung. Nakib Aslan is there, as well as Fadli Rakhmat and Arif Azmi and Jason Tay and Troy Ayman. That is the thrill of e-racing.
We say that Tree's a company, but that's a crowd. And he really got crowded out there for a second there, Jakdin. He might be used to WTCR cars when they bump each other, but not in these single-seater cars like this, as he bumps a bit there on the side of Garrido. And he nearly loses, Anton. And look at that. One of the JMX Phantoms cars go for the inside, takes away both of them. Fadli, in fact, gets up to 4th. Nakib side by side with him, and he gets away 5th. So Jakdin really getting swamped here by a few fast drivers.
Indeed it is. Fadli Rakhmat who is up into P4. Nakib is into P5. But Nakib is looking to make progress on the fast Indonesian Fadli Rakhmat from JMX Racing. There is Nakib on the bottom left of your screen. Fadli looking very focused, sitting nice and neat in that car, but under real pressure. Because when Nakib's on your tail, Ammo, I'm sure you've got experience. You know he's on your tail.
Yeah, he will actually try to barge his way past through when he gets the opportunity. You just can't give him an inch because he'll try to take away a mile from you. And this is what he is doing to some of the other drivers. Look at that overtaking maneuver at that final corner. Anton then, and indeed Fadli Rama as well, they just actually got that position, literally took the carpet away from him.
So this is the battle for P4. We'll just stick with this for a little while because it's important in the championship standings. In a moment, we'll go down to our Muhammad Alif Hamilton, but Alif is in P16. This is potentially crucial, but the good news for Alif, a 20-minute race of which 14 remain. Nakib makes his move now on the inside of Fadli Rakhmat. Nakib Aslan up into P4 ahead of Fadli, and he timed that one beautifully.
Indeed, and he just got that DRS again to his favor. Fadli, to his credit, didn't defend too hard, didn't want to cause a crash among each other, so it was good racing. He knew that he didn't have DRS and he couldn't defend anyway, so he just let him through. Now, this time, he has the advantage of actually using DRS, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not Fadli will try to fight back.
Let's very quickly have a look at the race leader, Kalen Chin. Kalen is nearly 4 seconds clear of Josh Perwin, but Josh Perwin up into P2, but he's got back markers to deal with.
Oh! That was really nip and tuck. He went through the inside of one of the, I think, Vietnam cars and Leona Chin, so he really risk a puncture there. He wanted to go through right there, right now, and to his credit, he actually made that stick.
He does go for it, does Kalen, doesn't he? He's going for it here. That was an aggressive move. It increased his lead, though. It's now up to 4.5 seconds from Josh Perwin. Perwin in P2. This is Perwin, Black Arts Racing, looking back at a vastly improved Mika Hakimi over the last couple of weeks.
Yep, and the fact that the double podium finish last time out in 3rd would have actually increased his confidence a lot, but he will try his best to get back at Josh because Josh actually overtook him for seconds. So battle on then between these two good mates on track.
Okay, this is the battle for P2. Ooh, back markers are there.
Oh,
is that Leona again? Leona causes Mika Hakimi to take evasive action. So Josh Perwin is able to get away into P2 and take a 2.5 seconds off Mika, and that could impact things because look at this. Nakib Aslan, he has gone round Leona Chin, and Nakib is closing in on Mika Hakimi.
Oh, that's not what Mika would have wanted, actually. Leona there becoming a rather mobile chicane that he had to go around the outside. Now, to his detriment, has to actually fend off now Kibazla, who's really fast approaching him. So that's kind of like the kind of trouble we have with the back markers here, because we see so many, in fact, look at that, there's a Vietnam car trying to get in the way of Nakib as well.
Okay.
The back markers really causing a trouble here.
The story of the round, apologies. Mohammed Alif Hamilton down in P13, but he is making progress. He's overtaken Ben Seek, Ayman Hakim and Ayman Hazik. He's got Miko Nassi ahead of him, and Presley Martono and Alistair Young and Inigo Anton. So it's, even though he's got a round to drop, this proves to everybody Alif is human, not a robot.
Not as impervious as we thought, and that actually just happens to be because this very round is a joke round where the championship is flipped on his head, and you have to let the championship runners who are in front would do a lot. Oh, there's a Vietnam car into the barrier there, so he might have touched somebody, and that is not going to look good because he's actually on broadcast right now. So whatever happened there, maybe what would have been actually a collision.
I can tell you that Jack Ding Chung is out of this race. So Jay Chang.
Whoa! That's an even bigger accident. And is that Nakib or is that Nabil? It's Nabil actually into the back of one of the Team Flash cars.
Wow, okay, so Nabil drops downwards up at the front. Where is Nakib? Nakib is P4. Yeah, we had to double check, because if it's Nakib, it is massive for the championship. It wasn't. It was Nabil. But what it allows, Ammo, is Alif Hamilton is moving inexorably up this championship leaderboard. P10 now, and he's dragged Nassi with him, and he's got Anton in his sights. That is Alif in the orange livery, the flash car, as he looks past Inigo Anton. He takes Inigo Anton up into P9. Presley Martono is next.
Yep, and that was, I think, Jason Tate being involved just now with Nabil's couple. Whatever it is, Nabil's not doing much favors for his brother up in front because he just gave away a few more points to Alif, and he's up to into the top 10. What looked like a very bad situation initially, now is coming around into Alif's favor. He's actually going to get more points out of here to at least not lose too much points at the top of the championship.
Up at the front, Kalen Chin is still leading the way. Hard compound. He got away to such a good start, Ammo. He's not looked back. 8 seconds his lead. 8 seconds lead over Josh Perwin.
Yeah, in fact, we saw just now, remember, when he was overtaking the back markers, he really made his chances count. He would have gotten a puncture if he got it wrong, but getting around the back markers as fast as possible is a trait that drivers must have, and Kalen did that very well here to increase his gap over the guys in second. There's Mika tries to go for the inside of Josh. Does he make it stick? Yes, he does. That's a brave dive bomb, but to detriment, Nakib actually manages to steal the position away from Josh, and now he's potentially going to get second place.
So Josh Perwin moves from 2 to 4 very, very quickly. There's the benefits or not of the problems of not having DRS. Mika Hakimi is able to go round. Nakib is taking a very, very different line, and Nakib aggressively takes the inside from Mika Hakimi. Oh, terrific from Nakib.
Wow, Nakib really showing his true colors here. He really wants to get a good point scoring round, and he's doing that right now. He can really throw that Suzuka race in the bin and consider this one as one of his best. If he could get a double win here, that would be one of the most amazing comebacks. It's literally a grand slam of pole positions, a first race win and a second race win, if he could catch Kalen.
In 2 reverse grid races, but Kalen, let's look at Kalen, because we've got to have a whole different screen for Kalen, is nearly 9 seconds clear. 9 seconds with 8 minutes remaining. His lap times, they're lapping about the same. 1:29.5, so 1:29.3 for Nakib. But Nakib needs to make up a second a minute.
Yeah, in fact, 8 minutes with a second a lap, that's possible, but not enough laps for him, unfortunately. So Nakib has to actually lap within 1.5 seconds faster than Kalen in the last 8 minutes that remain to have any chance of catching up to him and try to overtake him.
Okay, that's the race leader. Let's look back at Alif Hamilton. He's some racer, this fella. He is some racer. He's overtaken Presley Martono. He's got Alistair Young in front of him, Troy Iman in front of him there. So a top 3 place is not beyond the realms of possibility for Alif, despite starting P18 in race 1, P50 in race 2.
He can really show that he is an absolute racer. He just loves to be at the back and try to overtake guys in front. But in this race, at least, it's not really worked out to him to get all the way to the front. But nonetheless, he's not hemorrhaging points compared to what Nakib is doing. So as long as he still scores points, he's looking good in the championship.
Very briefly, let's move away. We're interested in Z Challenger this week. We haven't given them too much TLC, but there's bad news. Jack Ding Chung is out of the race. Jay Young will be out of the points. There he is in P17 at the moment. They've had a difficult time despite Jack Ding starting on pole position in both races. He will end without points in race number 2. Back up to the front, if we may. A battle going on for P3 between Hakimi and Perwin as Josh Perwin retakes P2. DRS coming into its own ammo.
Yep, and the DRS that time round wasn't available for Mika. He tried to get around Josh, but Josh then holds his own and he's up to 3rd. But Mika this time will have DRS because Josh is actually quite far away behind from Nakib, about more than a second behind. So Mika Hakimi then has the opportunity here to take 3rd place away from Josh because Josh will be a sitting duck.
Good little battle between 2 young racers, one from Australia, one from Malaysia. At the moment it's Perwin. Blackhearts leading the RSG of Mika Hakimi. Behind them, Troy Iman a further 2 seconds down. Let's have a quick look at Troy because Troy knows that Muhammad Alif is closing on him and there's still the best part of 6 minutes to race. Troy, beware, beware, there is a danger man behind you. The bogeyman approaches.
the bogeyman, well, for him, is going to be an absolute boogeyman after this if he actually gets up to his rear and tries to get up to the front. At the moment, he's not being pressured just by yet, but we all know this is Alif, and he can actually make that 1 second gap look like a 10th in just a few corners.
Well, he's made up 2 tenths as you were speaking. That's how quick Muhammad Alif Hamilton is. I tell you what, you try to put obstacles in his way and he just says, okay, how high is this obstacle? Yep, I can do that one. This is the battle for P5. On board here with Troy Iman, who is inexorably being closed down by Muhammad Alif Hamilton. Down the long straight, the back markers come a complication as they come into the tail end, round 16, 17 and 18, and then they will go on to their 12th lap.
Yeah, the back marker is really becoming a factor here. In fact, they're behind the 2nd Vietnam car, or is it one of the first? It's 32. That's Dang Hoi. So he's back in here for this race, but unfortunately, he's going to cause trouble to Troy Hyman, just as we mentioned him. So the back marker's there, not doing too much favors at all for Troy. Now, Alif will actually get up to 5th here. If he could get into the inside, no, not this time. So game on here between 5th and 6th. Troy Hyman under severe pressure from Alif.
And I don't think Troy's got the RS, so he's just defending against the inevitable. The long straight is when Alif will take it, but Alif needs to make progress very quickly because Kalen, Nakib and Josh are a long way away if he is going to make points, and Alif is still pushing in, looking for a position in the top 4. That's the target. That must be the target. Troy Iman currently in 5 for Stratos. The lime green up. Looking pretty good, and Troy, to be fair, is looking pretty darn cool. Bottom left of your screen.
Yep, but he won't be looking so good after this if he sees the fact that Alif will have the DRS when he goes through the DRS zone. Now, look at that. It's open. He's going to close up very soon to the back of Troy. Does he get the move stick here to come into the airpin? He's in the slipstream. He's on the inside, and Alif makes it. Does he? Yes, he does. He gets his nose ahead right before the corner, and he's up to 5th. Now Mika Hakimi is within his sights.
That's excellent work from Muhammad Alif Hamilton. He's up into P5. Up at the front, again, we've got to look at Kalen Chin. Kalen, this is a fabulous performance from Kalen. We keep saying, are we going to see the best of Kalen? And then he'll do something silly and disappoint us. But when he puts it all together, Amo, this kid can drive.
Oh, he can definitely drive. He's definitely like a Jedi Master behind the wheel of a, well, unfortunately he's black color, so he's actually in a Sith X-Wing, so, sorry, not X-Wing, a TIE fighter. And he's out there in front, winning against the field here. So he's going to take, I think, his first ever victory in E1. Yeah, best position so far he had is a P2. So the first win of the season for Kalen is going to do wonders for him, and he's really carrying that Black Wolf team up to the front.
Certainly, Black Wolf getting their moment in the spotlight today. Kalen was looking looking pretty good in race number 1 as well until Instance dropped him down. But here, barring a catastrophe in the final 2 minutes, he is going to take the race because he leads Naqib Aslan in P2 by over 8 seconds. Bottom end of the long straight. Let's see where Naqib is. What kind of pressure Naqib is going to face? Well, none is the answer. Just tarmac between him and Josh Perwin. 4 seconds behind. The battle that we really want to look at is this one, because Alif is closing in on Mika Hakimi. Now Hakimi is a different challenge to anybody else because Hakimi's in great nick.
Indeed, in fact, we mentioned earlier his 3 podium finishes in the first race of the season. Sorry, last time out in Suzuka. He didn't have a good race just now at Aragon, but he certainly wants to actually put up a good fight here to still continually score points and improve his season tally, because right now P7,
yeah,
P8 in the championship, he wants to actually catch up to Jason and Mohammed Ibrahim, who's definitely not going to compete in the for the rest of the season, so he wants to score points here.
Interestingly, Troy Iman will have DRS this lap, and we've got this is the penultimate lap. They'll finish this lap and there will be one more. I think I've got that right. Kalen Chin wasn't that far ahead, was he?
Yep. So two laps here for after this, but Mika makes a bit of a slight bog here. He actually didn't get a good drive out of that turn 10, 11, sorry, turn 8, 9 and 10. Now he's got Alif onto the inside. Can Alif make the move stick? His DRS is open, and yes, he does. Alif then serenely passes through. Mika just couldn't put up much of a challenge there. Now he has immediate troubles of Troy Iman behind him, so he's potentially going to lose 2 positions in 1 lap here.
Troy Iman, we are on board with him. They are the 2 in front of him, Alif and Hakimi. Hakimi in the blue. Alif has gone away. That use of the DRS now should kick in for Troy Iman, I would imagine. Yes, he looks on the inside of Mika Hakimi. He helps himself into P5. Mika drops down to P6. Back up to our race leader, Kalen Chin. Kalen is on his final lap.
A final lap of where the entire race is going to lead from start to finish. Again, that start proving to be his beneficiary for him. He just got the jump on Jack Ting Cheong, took the whole shot, and never really looked back. This is going to be one of his highlights of the season.
Aragon, there's already a little smile creasing through Caleb. Don't smile yet. Well, mind you, he smiles all the time, doesn't he? In fact, he laughs.
And even like we saw last year at his last season in Silverstone, he could have a drink while he was driving, courtesy of his dad, of course. So he really knows how to crack it. He has a really good sense of humor, and when he's on camera, he really knows when to be serious and when to be happy.
Kids these days, but it's a fabulous drive. 8 seconds, and he's kept that lead. Of course, he doesn't have DRS, but he has kept that lead from Naqib Aslan. Naqib has been able to pull away in P2. We'll very, very briefly look at him smiling. Naqib is in P2. He's just coming onto the long straight. We'll stick with Kalen Chin, though, around turn 16, the hairpin, unless he gets it so wrong. The easy does it, that'll do. I think that's probably in the corner, round 17 and 18, and this is the victory. First of the E1 Championship for Australia's Kalen Chin, Black Wolf Racing. He is nearly 8 seconds clear of Naqib Aslan, who will come through in P2. Josh Perwin will take P3 for Black Arts Racing. That's a fine result for him. Mohammed Alif Hamilton will come through in P4 ahead of Troy Iman. But the story of P2 is Kalen Chin.
Well, before we got to go back to Kalen Chin, what happened to Mika? Mika actually had a puncture on the last lap, and he's going to cross the line. He's going to cross the line in 10th place, but wow, that's just dramatic. That's just a sad way to end the race for the RSG driver.
We'll find out about Mika in just a while, but firstly, let's go back to the studio, Alex and Daniel, and let's get the reaction of a joyful Kalen Chin.
We have Kalen Chin on the line. Kalen, your first E1 Championship win. Congratulations. How does it feel? And walk us through that race.
I mean, first of all, thank you. It took quite a while, actually, but right now, I'm just pretty happy. After what happened in race 1, honestly, I was pretty mad at myself with the mistake that I made. It cost myself a lot of points and a podium, and then when I heard that the first grid was P15, I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting P2. And I just focused on getting a good start for lap 1 and then just pushing from there. And then I was just making sure my tires would last to the end, and yeah, it worked out well, and I won. So pretty happy with the result, and see what we can do next week.
Yep, and all of that was down to the start. Really, really good stuff. We're looking forward to the highlights. Congratulations, Kalen. You finally put it all together. Everybody's been rooting for you. I think everybody really, really liked that. Congratulations. And hopefully we see more of you at the top step of the podium for the second half of the season.
Thank you.
Confirmation of the results. Kalen Chin victorious. You quite rightly pointed out that Mick Hakimi dropped right off the radar, finishing P9 in the end ahead of Fadli Rakhmat. Miko Nasi in P11 out of the points, and Jay Yang finishing P12 for Z Challenger. Okay, Ammo. Wow. So 2 big wins. The reverse grid works. It really works.
It really does. It really just throws the cat's among the pigeons. A spanner into the works for everybody to actually try to claw their way back up, and it really worked because we didn't see Alif winning 2 races for once. So it actually has thrown the championship wide open for the rest of the field.
Excellent stuff. Great commentary, Ammo. Great to have you alongside me. Let's head back to the studio and the pros in the studio, Alex and Daniel.
Thank you, Des. Well, that wraps up race 2. There is a lot for us to discuss over there. A lot of stuff happening, a lot of implications on the final championship standings and how important the next few races are going to be. But we'll get to that in just a bit. First, a very short commercial break.
Last week in Suzuka, it was action-packed.
Travis Motorsport lost both their cars.
The collateral damage was Naqib Aslan.
P2 for Mohammed Ibrahim. What's the gap between...
tag.
Oh, and he's taken out Naqib Aslan. Naqib and Ibrahim tag as they both try and sort themselves out. Oh, Alex Young, what a problem for Stratos.
I was very clueless. I was really close to Alif behind. The next thing you know, I think Alif made contact, and then that somehow sent me in the wall. It was something that couldn't have been avoided.
The return of Miko Nasi.
Miko Nasi with his 2nd win of the season.
Miko Nasi takes the victory.
Got the win after a good battle in race 1. Unfortunately, I messed up a little bit in race 2 with pit speed limiter. Could have been better, of course, race 2, but we have to be happy with what we got.
And then, of course, in race 2, Taruna, they're getting some nice points.
He was leading for quite a while.
Oh, what a move.
I enjoyed the race, but there are slight disappointment because I didn't finish on the podium. The opportunity was there, the pace was there, but sadly we made a mistake on the pit stop strategy.
Arwin Taruna has been great. He's really worked hard and put in a really solid show in Suzuka. Solid weekend for us.
And of course, nice to see JMX Phantom leading the front for a long time.
The star of the show for JMX Phantom was Fadli Rakhmat. 2 4th-place finishers.
Fadli Rakhmat recovers to P4.
Overall, last week was a great race for us. It was the first time that we were able to keep up with the likes of Flash and Stratos, and ending up 4th with a good chance to win at the end. I think was a really solid performance.
Mika Hakimi on the podium in both races.
Mika Hakimi could well be chasing his first P2 of the season.
The best result I can get this season. The season has not been particularly good for me. Definitely not been easy, but I think I'm quite satisfied with how things went at Suzuka.
Heading into the second half of the season, really becoming the Alif Hamilton show.
It's going to be very tough to catch him.
Win number 5 for Mohammed Alif Hamilton from Singapore.
It is my 5th win in a row. Did not expect having 5 wins out of 8 in such a tight season like this.
Aragon's another fast circuit.
It has a lot of blind corners, which makes it very tricky to drive.
I had my first taste in it in ERGP.
Track limits is such a major issue here.
A lot of technical turns.
It's a high-speed track. It's actually a touring car track.
Bit of a different track compared to all the other tracks we've had this season.
Aragon will be a new track for me. It's my first time racing there.
It's going to be a new experience for me to learn the track. Focus on extracting the maximum that we have.
I'm gonna just dive bomb.
Trying to manage my tires.
Hopefully getting the points again.
Alex Young, the architect of the E1 Championship. He loves to meddle with the rules. He's got a super duper joker this time.
For Aragon, we will have a joker format. But what will it be? Stay tuned to find out.
Black Wolf Racing Team are the Singapore-based outfit that joined us in Season 0 of the E1 Championship and have made a return in Season 1.
That's perfect, good. And he just leaves Ironman behind.
Black Wolf Racing formed as a team since 2012. We have been racing in karting. Right now, we're actually moving towards sim racing as well due to this COVID. My name is Daniel Rainway.
I'm Kalen Chin, and I am a driver for Black Wolf Wide Open Throttle Performance Racing. It all started back in 2010. You'd be surprised how long I've actually been driving for.
I actually had a wheel and pedals, and it's something that Kalen jumped on and taught himself how to drive when he was 3, and I was amazed.
After that, I just got interested in it and just been driving since then.
I'm Dave Chin. I'm Kalen Chin's father. I'm part-time Black Wolf Racing engineer and esports team manager.
For myself, I was doing more of real motorsports. We already actually prepared cars to take part in MCS.
Daniel is a good driver in his own self, but he's more of a team owner. Once Black Wolf can get a second driver, maybe he could match Kalen.
If we can search for some talents to actually join Black Wolf, I will step away to let these young boys race, and then I'll concentrate more on real racing. Season 0 is a learning process for us, basically.
I didn't really have a good first start of the season back then, but towards the end of the season, that's when I really make up for it.
Kalen Chin will come through in P2.
Kalen Chin should have won a race by now.
To be honest, I think we could have done better.
Unfortunately, his results have not been as good as they were last year.
I don't want to put expectation up too high, but the realistic expectation is for us to actually improve from our position last year.
They definitely do have those strengths.
He needs a bit more coaching, I feel, to try and curate the race weekend properly.
As a driver, you always want to show that, you know, I'm the best.
You know, okay, he's not winning all the time, but he does have some race wins. He's 14 years old, able to race shoulder to shoulder with the best sim racers in Asia.
I want to be a champion. Look out, old guys, the young gun is coming through.
Welcome back to the E1 Championship. We've just wrapped up race 2 out of 2 at Aragon in Spain. Now, we just had that feature there on Black Wolf Racing, and I was saying earlier on in the show, we have the opposite effect of the commentator's curse happening, where we say drivers need to buck up, they need to just put things together a little bit more, and then they spring back and prove us wrong. And that just happened there. Alex, you were saying Kalen Chin needs to have won a race already, and he just did.
Yeah, I mean, we've never doubted his pace. His pace has at times been stunning, you know, like Austria this year, where he overtook Alif, and we thought once the pit stops worked out, he'd win. But then he made a mistake overtaking someone and got a puncher. So those those decisions sometimes are critical parts of the racing. Sometimes it takes too many risks. We just saw it actually. You know, we had a great went through between 2 back markers earlier in race 2, and we looked at it. Wow, brilliant move! But that was a high risk move, and on another day that could have ended up with another puncher. But it was really good for Kalen to get it all out of his system and get the win today. And the lap times were very bang, bang, bang as well, which is very impressive. So this is the sort of thing you see with a young driver. If you get a win under your belt, you suddenly it brings him up to another level. And I'm hoping that's what's going to happen with Kalen, and we could see him on a bit of a roll.
For sure. And again, Kalen Chin is one of the youngest drivers, if not the youngest driver, on our grid right now. Don't quote me on that. But he
he's
has
14.
His entire career ahead of him. So one win is all it takes to give a driver that kind of confidence that they need to just plow through the rest of the season and put things together. And we have a couple more rounds left. We've got some tricky circuits, but as you said, Alex, he does have that pace. So if he puts together in qualifying in the next round, and he starts at the front, and he has another one of those lightning starts, that was the key to his success then. He was able to just launch it off the line, get past everybody else, get past Jackton, pull that 10-second gap to everybody, and then just focus on himself because he has that speed.
Absolutely.
And talking about drivers that also have their speed coming back to them, one of the RSG boys. We were talking about RSG as well earlier on in the show, about how they've come back to their true form, you know, being in the top 5, being very, very consistent. One of those drivers is Mika Hikimi, who actually finished in P4 in race 2. Let's see if we can speak to Mika very quickly about his race 2. We've got Mika up on the screen there. Mika, hello. That was a difficult race 2. We actually had you up on screen when you were stuck behind a back marker at one point. Walk us through your race 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My race 2, it was just, I think my driving was not good enough. I was wearing out the tires way too much, and I had a puncture on the very last lap, so I don't think I put in a decent enough performance worthy of anything, to be honest.
But you were up there at the first half of the race. Do you reckon a podium was doable?
If I could have kept my tires in check, definitely. Not just in race 2, but in race 1 as well. So I think that's something for me to work on in the break. But yeah, I mean, it's just a very, very bad performance today.
Of course, we have a 2-week break until the next round in the Netherlands. We're racing in Zandvoort. You're talking about tire wear there. How do you manage that tire wear? Or what do you think you were doing wrong with the tire wear?
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't really know what I'm doing wrong with the tires. It's been a problem since the start of the championship. I've been wearing out the tires a bit too much, and it never really made much of a difference until this round. So yeah, for sure in the break we'll be trying out different things to see what's actually causing that extra tire wear and work on it for Zandvoort.
Well, we have 2 weeks, and I'm sure you're going to be doing your homework and pulling a lot of long nights, and we look forward to seeing you back on the podium. But congratulations for another good points haul there in race 2.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Good to see RSG collecting those points again. Now, reflecting back on race 2, let's jump straight back into the highlights from race 2.
So here, highlights from race 2. There we see Kalen Chin with that lightning start that Danny was talking about. Jack Tin Chung just didn't get the start he wanted to, got involved in quite a few incidents here and eventually would drop back. But this would allow Mika Hakimi and Josh Perm to get into second and third. You see quite a few midfield battles, and then we see Nakib with great pace in the middle of the race to get past Josh first and then past Mika to get up to second position. That's as far as he would go because Kalen was just too far up the road. And then we saw later on Alif doing a good job to get back up into fourth position. So Josh was third, Kalen second, and this man, Kalen Chin, won his first race in E1.
And the aftermath of race 2, here is our top 10. Kalen Chin with his maiden win in the E1 Championship, a boy that wears his heart on his sleeves. We love having that camera angle of him on his sim with his big grin. Nakib Aslan in P2 was very, very close. We thought he could hunt him down, but there was still a big enough gap between the two drivers. But a healthy points haul nonetheless for the Stratos Motorsports driver. And Josh Perwin, he's going to be happy with that. P3, another very good points haul. We've seen him putting in these strong performances in the earlier part of the season, and once again, he's done it, and he'd be very, very happy with that. And here is a look at our overall final results from race 1, race 2, and qualifying combined. And it's a 50-point haul for Nakib Aslan. Kalen Chin in P2 with 31 points. Troy Ayman, the Scuderia Stratos driver, he'll be very, very happy with that after a few difficult races in the early part of the season. But the interesting driver to put our focus on is Alif Hamilton, P5. I think this is one of the furthest down finishes he's had in this season so far with 24 points. But those are points nonetheless, and he's still going to continue his championship lead. Well, that was an exciting, exciting race. Once again, the Joker format has delivered.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of fun changing it up a bit of a Joker format. And like you said, you know, had nothing to do with the Joker format, but Alif obviously had a bad day today. Championship leader. You know, at the moment, this would be his lowest round score, so this would be this round he would want to drop. Of course, 3 more rounds to go. He still has a healthy lead in the championship, you have to say, but this is exactly what Nakib needed. You know, he won race 1, second in race 2. It makes the championship come alive again.
For sure, and towards the end of this program, we will get another look at the overall championship standings, so we'll be able to see how small that deficit has become. And as you said, we have double points in the last round. So your bet was right. It is too early to call in the championship. Next round, which for all of our viewers is going to be in 2 weeks. We are off next week. Is going to be in the Netherlands. We're racing at a track called Zandvoort, which is extremely difficult. Now, for those that have managed to catch a sneak peek of the resurfaced track on YouTube with Max Verstappen going around in his Red Bull car, you'll see that it has a lot of elevation change, a lot of banking. It's very similar to what the IndyCar drivers would be used to on their ovals. And when you have that banking, it just means you're able to go that much faster around the corners.
Yeah, it's a good little track. It's one of these old school tracks. Hasn't changed that much over the years, even though it has been resurfaced in Formula 1. That is coming up later this year. But it's one of those fast corners. Drivers with that can be seriously committed. The guys who are more committed, the more you can be aggressive as well with those fast, long corners. Those are the ones that go quick there.
Is it harder to overtake when you have that kind of banking? Because the drivers go fast around the corners.
Yeah, so it's like Suzuka. But unlike Suzuka or Aragon, the aggressive drivers do tend to get rewarded here. But you can't overtake. It is very hard to overtake. But, you know, we have DRS. DRS has a very strong effect with these E1 cars. We'll still see some great racing.
And another interesting thing is going to be the tire wear. Now, we always have a different level of tire wear going into every single race. Some races have more, some races have less. But on a track like this where you are going fast around the corner, where you do have that hard braking, and it is a fast circuit, it's twisty and it's fast, the tire wear is going to be really, really high regardless of the settings that the drivers have. And it means that drivers like Mika Hakimi are going to be struggling if they don't work out what's wrong in the next few weeks.
So, yeah, we see a lot of teams who are quick but struggling with tire wear, so they can never make those conservative strategies work, where they take the harder time, they try and go without pit stops. RSG, we just saw Mika Hakimi talking about it. Black Arts also struggle with that. The only ones who seem to have a good handle on it are Stratos Motorsports, Scuderia Stratos, and of course Team Flash. Safe House is not bad, a bit up and down. Some races they're good with tire wear. But yes, you have to be quick and you have to be able to look after those tires as well.
Well, Nabil Aslan is going to be very happy that he's in a team that knows how to do their setup. We saw the two different Stratos Motorsports teams up at the front. But let's take a look at the overall championship standings for the drivers and the teams. So here's a look at our top 5. And as we said, Alif Hamilton is still in the lead. And he still has a very big lead for that matter. But Nakib Aslan is drawing in closer and closer. Once again, we see Ayman Hakim consistently collecting points, and he's there in a comfortable P3, I would say. He's quite a healthy bit amount ahead of Josh Perwin, who also had a very good race 2, I must say, followed by Kalen Chin, that race 2 win, propelling him into the top 5. And now let's take a look at the teams, our top 5. Team Flash up at the front with 323. Again, quite a big points haul ahead of Stratos Motorsports, but they're gonna be able to collect a lot more points with a strong driver lineup. Nonetheless, Mika Hakimi really gonna want to be working on his ability to deal with that tire wear going into a track like Zandvoort to maintain their P3, followed by Safe House and JMX Phantom, the Indonesian-based outfit, and the Orange Car. It's good to see them in the top 5. Well, that's all we have for you tonight, folks. Kind reminder that we will not be live next week. We will be live the week after that. That is May 19th for all of those celebrating. Happy Eid Mubarak. Please socially distance, sanitize your hands, and be safe with all your family, and eat lots of food. My special thanks to Alex with me here, and Amo and Des in the commentary booth. We will see you guys very shortly. My name is Daniel Woodruff. Happy Eid to all celebrating, and good night.